5:30. Here we go. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Recording and taping notification. As required by the law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. Okay.
Madam Chair, before we go any further,
Yes.
you can have an open session, an open discussion for the general public or any of the board members.
Yes.
Because I want to ask Eric about this.
Sure.
Well, that'll be under budget report.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have a time.
Yeah,
Budget?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have
All
time
right.
to
That's
discuss.
fine. Thank you.
First
Madam
meeting?
Chair.
Sure. All right. So first up for public announcement, we have Bob Brackett wants to talk to us about futsal.
What do you want me?
Hi.
Wherever you'd like.
Yeah, center
Yeah, you
stage.
can come here too.
Thank you. So, when I hand these out, so
Sure,
everybody has
sure.
something. So, I want to thank the board for hearing me, this evening.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do we have Frank on?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I didn't
Frank would have killed me. He would have
I'm
killed me.
so sorry. Now that
Sorry
I've
about
thought
that.
of
That's
that.
all right, I can stand by.
Participating
I'm on your
remotely
time.
tonight.
Yep.
Yep. Let me find his number here.
Give us a second to review this beautiful packet.
Is he not
The
answering?
party you are trying to reach.
Hold on. Let's try again. Hold on. What is wrong with his phone?
All right, if he calls back,
Yeah, I'll keep trying. Go ahead.
all right.
All
Sorry,
right.
Bob, go ahead.
That's all right.
please.
So, first of all, my name is Bobby Brackett. I'm here representing the Harwich Police Soccer Club. And I want to thank you for your time today. I'm here before you looking for a letter of support for a presentation and a proposal that I put forth to the CPC on November 2nd. And that is a proposal for a portable street soccer pitch that could be available to members of our community. Before I get into that, I'd like to just familiarize you with my program for those of you that are not aware. I started HPD soccer in 2012, so we're going into our 11th season this year. It started with a small group of about 10 or 11 kids that I was coaching.
Hey, Frank. Sorry, Bob.
That's all right. It started with a group of 10 or 11 kids that I was coaching in fall soccer that wanted to continue to play throughout the winter. Some of them did not have any winter sports to play. And some of them did have a winter sport such as basketball or something else, but they still wanted to have access to play some soccer. So being New England, our only option in the winter was to go indoors. Unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, at the time, there was only one place to go. And that would have been here to the community center. It was the only available gymnasium in town because, as you know, the Monomoy School District, those gyms are not Town of Harwich gyms. Those are Monomoy Regional School District gyms, which cost a significant amount of money to use. So luckily at the time, with the support of the rec director, Eric, and Carol and Carrie here, we were able to, at the time, the community center was booked solid on Saturday mornings. Eric had his rec programs that I believe started at 8 o'clock in the morning. Back then with some basketball. And so with some coercion and cooperation between Carolyn and the Harwich DPW and the custodians, we were able to sneak in here at 7 o'clock in the morning and utilize the gym for an hour before Eric started. And at the time, I paid, I believe Carolyn carried the facility fee at the time. I think it was like $400 or something for a season to use. I paid that out of my own pocket. Did that for 2 years. And the first year, and then we kept getting more kids that wanted to do it. The next year we did it in the winter months, and we got even more kids that wanted to do it. And we got up to the point where we kind of had too many kids for 1 hour to be able to do anything productive. At that time, I think we're in the winter of 2014 to 2015, the old middle school on Sisson Road was sitting vacant. Nobody was using that. It was empty. I was able to go to the selectman and the town administrator at the time and got support to be able to go in and use that gymnasium in there, which was the kids thought was great because it was like they had their own place to be because we were the only ones using it. And other than being a little creepy to them, they loved it because it was theirs. And we were able to have that on Saturday mornings, and we were able to expand our program to allow more kids to play. And we have been there ever since with great support from the community and the town. I like to think that we had a big role in revitalizing that property because we gave it a purpose when nobody was using that at all. And since then, it has expanded into the 204 as it is today. So we have expanded up to, we run a winter futsal program indoors. We average 200 to 225 kids a season that we put through there from grades 3 to 12. It is a free program. It is operated under the Harwich Police Association, which is a non-profit organization. We're under the umbrella of the Harwich Police Association, so we are funded through them, and we're lucky to have a couple of donors that help support the project. But it is completely free to all the kids in there. So we run our winter futsal program that generally runs the first week or two of December, and it runs to the last weekend of March, and it's on every Saturday in there. We expanded after a few years. We started everybody wanted a little bit more, so they wanted something in the summer. So we started doing a beach soccer program in the summer, again with great support from Eric here, and we did a summer program for like 3 or 4 years on Red River Beach, and we would have one night a week where we would go down there Red River Beach, and we would set up 2 temporary fields on the beach. It was, to say that was a challenge is an understatement, because we would go down there and we'd start our program about 5:30 at night, but it would take me about an hour and a half to set up the fields down there. So to find areas of the beach where we could do that and get some cooperation of individuals that were on the beach to maybe slightly move where they had set up was challenging at best. And a few times I had to refund out of my pocket somebody's daily beach expense because they weren't happy about it. So to avoid any conflict, we would just we'd give them their money back to play. But it became very challenging, and so we decided about 3 years ago to try to pivot away from that, and we decided to try a street soccer program, and we were lucky enough. It was something fresh and exciting that I thought that the kids would really enjoy, and that it would be something fun for the community. And so I was lucky enough to be able to borrow a street soccer pitch, a portable street soccer pitch from Mass Youth Soccer Association that they were able to give to us for 6 weeks in the summer. Again, I found the challenge was trying to find a place to set that up. And Carolyn Carey was very good gracious enough to allow us to set it up here in the parking lot here. 3 summers ago was our first summer doing that, and it was a huge success. It sat here for 6 weeks in the summer. We ran a program one night a week. We'd get roughly about 100, 110 kids a night that would show up to it. And it turned into quite a very nice community program because many of the nights that we were operating our program here were nights that there were Harwich Mariners games, and the crowds that we ended up getting at our street soccer pitch from families that were going to the Mariners games was pretty incredible. There, so many people would stop and watch our program play. We would also get some of the kids that were there for Mariners games would jump in and play some of the games with us. It was very good. We found the lifeguards enjoyed it after a day on the beach. They would find themselves in there kicking it around. We also had a program with adults with special needs that would come here a couple of times a week with a bunch of adults with special needs, and they would utilize it as well as families throughout the week that would drop in and use it. 2 years ago, unfortunately, we were unable to get that street soccer pitch because it had a prior commitment through Mass Youth Soccer. We were able to get it again this past summer, and again, we had an equally successful summer with the street soccer program. Kids really enjoyed it. The Monomoy sports team, soccer teams in their summer preseason training were using it in the mornings. It's just something that was very unique, and the kids seem to really enjoy it. It's just something that really kind of revitalizes its an area. It brings a lot of community attention to it because it's so unique. It just draws people to it. So my pitch for a pitch was to try to get one of our own for the community to set up in town. So the portable pitches are $48,700 was a quote for it through Metal Sports was the company. It's the same exact pitch that we had here through Mass Youth Soccer. It's this company's kind of an exclusive to this company. This company's been very supportive of our program. They've had me on their podcasts to talk the national podcast to actually talk about our program there and the success of it. The nice thing about these pitches is they are portable. They can be set up anywhere. We had it set up here in the parking lot. It can be set up. It takes about 4 or 5 adults, probably 2 or 3 hours to set up and break down. It's not something you're going to set up every day somewhere in a different location, but it's nice because you can put it in one location for a couple of months, then put it to another location for a couple of months. So you can move it in different parts of the community. So therefore people, what I learned is sometimes if you set something up in one part of town, not everybody can always get to it. Some kids can't get to some location in town every day if they wanted to. So by being able to move it different times to different locations in town, you might have some kids that can ride their bike to a location and be able to utilize it where they might not be able to get to a different location. So it's nice to have some flexibility in where you want to put it in town. My long-term goal, I would like to find a permanent location for one in the community. And they do make permanent pitches that are a little bit more heavy duty with weighted down with lights and whatnot. They run upwards of about $100,000 there. So, but you could also put this portable pitch in a permanent location as well. So long term, I would certainly like to, and we do have some places that we're looking at to put a long-term permanent pitch in. But in the meantime, I think it's a very good thing to have in the community so we can move that around. I do have the support, I've reached out, Carolyn Carey here has given a letter of support for it, that she'll continue to let us, utilize the parking lot here whenever possible. Cindy Williams from the Chamber of Commerce has given a letter of support, offered her support of it for potentially either using, the parking lot down there where her is in the off season, to put it down there to give a little bit, add something to Howardsport there, or a location could be found in Howardsport for the summer months that you could utilize it during the music and the port stuff. There's a lot of options that can be done with these due to its portability. Again, it's not something you're going to be set up every day, every week, but if you can set it up there for a few weeks at a time in different locations, it's certainly worthwhile. I just think it's very important that we, unfortunately, there's not a lot of places where the youth can go and utilize free play, unstructured play in the community. Other than the basketball court, there's not a lot of places where the youth in the community can utilize unstructured play. And this gives an option where kids can, or anybody can go and do unstructured play there. So unfortunately, I could talk all night, so I don't want to keep you here and everything. So I'm certainly open to any questions of that, but that kind of covers the gist of it.
Great. Well, thank you so much
You're
for that.
welcome.
I think we'll just go around with any questions, and then we'll take a vote on whether or not we can do a letter of support.
No questions, great project.
Yeah, no question. Sounds like a great project.
Same number?
What's that?
Same number
I don't.
that you submit For the CPC?
For the price? Yes.
Yep, same number.
Yep.
Yeah, no questions.
Okay.
Oh, no,
No,
I'm good.
yeah, right,
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I'm not on the
sorry.
commission.
I'd like to make a motion
Oh,
to
I have one
support.
question. Can field hockey use this?
Yes,
Awesome.
that's a good thing, so it could be, so that's the nice thing about it, is it's not, so just like anything that's free play, it's limited only to people's imagination.
Awesome.
So it can be used for field hockey. I do think that they make, balls that are more designed for indoors and everything as opposed to the hard outdoor ball. I
Yeah.
believe the hard outdoor balls will damage, potentially dent the side. So as long as the appropriate ball is used, it can be used for street hockey as
Awesome.
well.
Okay.
It's, again, the beautiful thing about it is, you know, it's free play for kids.
Perfect.
So whatever they can come up with for their own games, it's there to be done. That's the
Awesome.
beauty of it.
All right.
My motion stands.
Okay.
Second.
Yep. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. But I need to do
Roll call
a
vote.
Roll
roll
call.
call
Frank
vote.
on the phone.
So
Aye.
John Mahan,
Aye.
Brian Wentworth, David Nixon,
Yes.
Phyllis,
Yes, Thomason.
Thomason, yes, and Leah Mercurio. Frank Crowley.
Yes.
Okay, Leah Mercurio, yes. Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay, so Eric,
Thank you, Bob.
you'll do the
I'll
letter of
write up the
support?
letter. Yep,
Okay,
I'll get that to you,
perfect.
Bob.
Next, we have,
Excuse me.
oh,
Could I just make a comment on that?
sure.
I appreciate the commission's support of this program. I have a recommendation, though, that in addition to the letter of support, I would recommend that the liaison of the rep from the Recreation Committee to the CPA try to advocate to make sure that Mr. Brackett has an opportunity to return at the CPA before any final decisions are made. It's based on what I saw at the CPA committee. There were a lot of questions that deserve an opportunity to be answered and followed up on, because I don't think that committee fully understands the program and the value of it. So I would just recommend that this committee and the rep do whatever they can to make sure that it gets another fair shot at being discussed
Okay.
before final decisions are made on the funding. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comment.
Madam Chair, before we go any further, could you introduce the newest member of the committee to us?
Oh, yes. This is Brian Wentworth. He is our newest member for the committee, and we are very happy to have him here. Thank you.
Thank you, I'm excited to join.
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I need all the help I can get tonight. Angie Chalaka, please. Circus.
I think.
Mark-
Tony-
Okay, Angie's
Oh.
not here.
Tony
Yeah.
London.
Will be presenting.
I'm her poor substitute. because
Absolutely.
No one, wait a minute, no one can substitute for Angie
I know,
Chalaka.
Could you just let me know your name again, please?
It's Valerie Clayton
Thank you.
with Tony London. We're
Can't
both
forget
here.
Tony.
It takes two of us to make up for Angie.
True.
So we're here representing the Harwich Children's Fund, who is coming before the board sort of in a Groundhog Day deja vu 2019 reboot. We were here back in 2019 and we had, at the time, were considering and requesting consideration for use of facilities to bring Circus Smirkus to town. Anyone familiar with it? Ever hear of it? Okay, well, you're in for a treat then, because if we can get it to Harwich, it's a very cool thing. So, on the table, this is a very short, just very little bit of information about Circus Smirkus. The kind of catch-22 is that they want to be approved and have the town say it's okay to come in before they really give you everything. Instead of giving you everything first and letting you decide, they want you to decide and then they'll give you everything. So this is very, very much a very brief overview. But it's a, Circus Smirkus is a traveling circus. It's all young performers, ages 11 to 18. They go to circus camp. It's located up in Vermont. They get trained to present all the acts that you see. It's the only one in the whole country, actually, and it's in our area. They go to 20 cities in New England. The competition for those cities is incredibly intense. As I said, we were here in 2019 because we were going to finally get a spot. They had a spot opening and then COVID happened. then the circus shut down and they couldn't travel and the kids couldn't come and all that. So then they had to go back. By the time they really traveled again wasn't until 2022. And they owed things to other people, you get the idea. So I went back, I have been hounding them since 2019. I went up to Marshfield, met the tour director at the time, Judy Gates, wonderful woman. They came down, they vetted Harwich. They were in Sandwich. They've been on the Cape before, but not in many years, and they would love a Cape location. The main problem for Harwich is that they have to be able to get to the city they come from and the city they're going to in a reasonable amount of time. They can't travel like, 10 hours from one location to another. I think Sandwich was just being in the Upper Cape, it's a little easier to get to. But that being said, they've gotten over that. They've gotten over that. Fingers crossed. And our persistence, we're hoping, is paying off. The Harwich Children's Fund is a nonprofit organization, as is Circus Smirkus. So they charge a flat fee to come in. That's something that Harwich Children's Fund has to manage. We did it before. It's a little hefty, but once you pay your flat fee for them, all the ticket sales come back to us, and any costs that the town bears or anybody else get, we have to reimburse all of that. But typically the circus puts on 4 shows while they're here, 2 days, 2 shows a day. Average presenters' profit is close to $20,000. That's a lot of money for the Harwich Children's Fund. She's our treasurer, she can say. I mean, we have to work hard, and I guess actual disclosure, true disclosure. I was a class advisor at Harwich High School in Monomoy, responsible for bringing the very first Harlem Wizard show in. If any of you have gotten a chance to see them, I'm taking credit for that. But I did that, and the reason I did it is like you can have 20 car washes and not even get close. Like you can only get sort of the manpower and everybody who's on board. We do a lot of things to raise money and we apply for grants, and right now we're very busy in the holiday season, shopping for how many families? 100
to 215
families and children.
Well,
and
children.
I mean, and we work with the schools to do that. So to me, I'd much rather bring in, I guess I'm a big idea person, like bring in the big thing, make a decent amount of money, plus if you had a chance to read this, there's a lot of benefits to the community. I mean, they're gonna come in the summer in July, they're looking at a window in July, and obviously there's a lot of people here visiting. We have no doubt that there's opportunities for local vendors to be set up around there. Like they just really, the reason we're here, and Eric knows a lot about this already, because he was back in 2019, he was there then. But the field does require, they bring like 20 truckloads of equipment. They have a lot of wires. They have their own generator truck. But they need hookups to the building. They need a water source. And, as much as they say you have to okay us, they also have to okay us. If you're willing to consider them, they will do a site visit. They have a new director, Kerry Kay is his name. He wouldn't come down here until we came here first. So I could talk a lot about this, but I don't want to. I can't, you're a hard act to follow. So I mean, I know there's a lot of people here that want to speak. So I guess we're looking for, to answer any questions that you might have as much as we can. And that being said, there's a lot of things we can't answer because it's like the chicken or egg thing, which thing we need to know first. They say we need you to be willing to consider them, and then they'll come to a site visit and we'll answer further questions if the need be.
They did approve it in 2019.
They
right?
did. I didn't know if I should say that. Because, not to put the pressure on you, because the last group said yes. So why not?
So just to clarify, you are looking for us to approve considering them? Is that what you're asking?
Concept.
Like the concept, consider the concept of it, or?
Well, I think we need to know if we can schedule them. That's the bottom line. Like
Okay.
they only have 20. If we don't jump on this, they're going to go to them. They have a waiting list. They only go to 20 towns in New England over the course They only tour during the summer. Obviously, the kids have to go back to school. So, I mean, this is like their summer trip, but
As far as booking goes, we haven't started taking our summer bookings yet for fields and parks, so we could certainly book off a set of dates for you guys out back here.
yeah, he had, did you get the range of dates?
Yes,
Did you
July
send
12th
that?
to the 21st.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
July
it's 3 or
12th.
4 days within that, right?
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so they need sort of a day on either side.
Yep.
And actually, because we have some people from the community here, within our group, we have the performers get housed within the community. It's kind of like a little fun thing too. They come in and, we have, a certain number of members in our group that are gonna be willing to do that, but it might be fun for some of the kids to have one of, because they're little kid, it's amazing when you see them, some of the little ones, and the kids run the whole thing. One minute you see them out doing an act, the next minute they're holding the tension wires for some aerialist to be doing her number, they have a lot of adults there too that are running things,
Okay.
so.
Thank you. So questions?
Nope, sounds good to me.
Okay, questions?
How
Questions?
large a footprint are we looking
It's a single tent, it's a, I'm not sure actually the dimensions of the tent, but he's looked at Google Earth, knows the size of the field. He said it's more than adequate to house not only the tent, but the things
Which
that.
field?
The field
Behind the
Talking
building.
about out
Back.
back?
Yeah.
Out back.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so the
pointing
only
you
thing
to
we
it
have to
like-
be wary of is the irrigation system.
We always, before big events like that, Brian
Stake.
comes out and stakes out the irrigation spots to not hit with the tent.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like the Harvest Festival that's out there, I feel like they take up a lot more room than this would. I've been to it several times and seen it, and, I think some of their trucks, though, need space to park. But I think they also liked, when they looked at Google Earth, because they've already done that much, they liked that the high school is across the street. Though I don't know if there'll be a Mariners game that night or whatever, but,
Is this a daytime or a nighttime?
Yes, it's both.
it's
Oh.
both. They do
Two shows.
generally an
Two shows,
11
2
and
days.
7, they do a daytime show and a nighttime show.
Through you, Madam Chair, is law enforcement gonna be involved?
They're gonna go through all the permit
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
This is,
Okay.
yeah, it's
We'll
separate.
do all that.
They come
So-
down, if they approve it, Circus Mercus by January gives us our notebook of here's your tasks. And they're all, they haven't had any trouble in any town they go to getting that done. That's what they reassure us, so.
Anything else? Phyllis, any questions? No questions. Okay, no questions for me. So should we?
Letter of support?
I'll make a motion to not support, approve, I believe is the correct word.
Yes, that's,
Approve the request to allow Circus Smirkus, pending any and all required permits from the town of Harwich.
okay.
Second.
All right. Roll call vote.
Discussion?
Oh, discussion? None? Okay. Roll call vote. John Mahan?
Yes.
Brian Wentworth?
Yes.
Dave Nixon?
Yes.
Phyllis? I'm gonna,
Frank?
Almost Frank Crowley?
Yes.
Dave Mercurio? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's you too, I guess.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much for your time and we're pretty excited. I'm pretty excited.
Pulled it off without age.
Yes.
Tonight, yes, she'll be back.
She'll be
All
proud.
right.
If she's watched, she could have watched it on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Susan Holly, Village Crafters of Cape Cod. They're looking for 2 requests for fee reduction and waiver at Dome Park.
Yeah, these,
So-
you want me to, go ahead, sorry. I was just gonna give you the rundown. These are the same bookings they do every year. Doan Park, July 11th and August 15th. They are asking for a fee waiver, and I believe 90% of their profits go to the Chase Library.
I believe we have a
You said my
representative.
whole
Oh, I'm
speech.
sorry.
I don't have anything to add to it.
That's that glaucoma, I can't, no peripheral vision.
We will have the liability insurance for you well before the shows. We know we can't do the show without the insurance, but it's a 2024 expenditure for us. This year we were able to give Chase Library $600. So we're hoping that you will waive the site fee so that that money can also go to Chase.
So moved.
Yep, so moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
John Mahan, yes.
Brian Wentworth, yes.
Dave Nixon, yes.
Phyllis Thomason, yes.
Frank Crowley?
Yes.
Yes, from me as well, we
did
have
it.
Jerry out.
Thank you so much. So we're okay on the dates,
Yep.
and we're okay on this, on the visit.
Yep.
Thank you very, very much.
got
I
it.
so appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, here we go. New business, Corey Sori acknowledgement form due for all committee members. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions?
Just when you turn those in, we need a photo ID copy as well,
Okay.
just so you know.
Where are we returning them?
Rec office, or you could email it to me.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever's easiest for you.
Are the does Elaine have the forms?
They were in
They
the
were in the
packets.
packet.
I have one here.
Okay.
You could have this one
Awesome,
if you want.
thank you. Perfect. Next is director's report.
So pretty much all here. I'm just gonna see if I have any updates for you. CPC project update. I could just give you that because it's not an agenda item right now. The Brooks Park project is very close to finished. They're gonna do the final painting and final coat in the spring when the weather's right for that type of work. I believe they're finishing up the fencing and then it's gonna be done. As far as the other two open projects, the Sand Pond restroom project, we put it out to bid for a second time for a stick-built restroom, as was recommended by the Highway Department, and we got no bids for the stick-built. So Sean Libby is reevaluating that and trying to come up with an alternative. Opposed to that kind of is the Senior Memorial Restroom project. That one was also going to go out as a stick-built RFP for a restroom. Now seeing the bids we're getting for Sand Pond, not getting for Sand Pond, we started to talk about considering another precast concrete restroom. The difference there is there's more money in the budget for that one with the seniors' donation of the $20,000. So it gives us the extra room to get the concrete one. So I sent over the paperwork to Megan over at Town Hall to put together an RFP for a concrete precast restroom. So we'll see what we get for that. We usually do Shea Concrete has done all of our bathrooms. So I would imagine that they would probably bid again on that. So I'm waiting on Sean to see what alternatives he comes up with for Sand Pond, and we're going to move forward on Senior Memorial unless anybody is highly opposed to the precast concrete. And that's the bulk of my updates, and then obviously if there's any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions?
Couple things.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of posts for new programs.
Yep.
Some of them are very uniform.
Yep.
And then every once in a while, there's a random one that's blue or without the logo on the top. My own opinion is they should be
Logoed.
They should be standard. The post should be standard. So when people see it, they know right away that it's a Harwich Rec.
So like standard flyers.
No, I mean, has anybody else picked up on that? Like when you see them on Instagram or on Facebook, the one with the rec has the rec logo on the top.
Okay.
And some of the other ones do not. And I don't know.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, not yet. Sorry.
That's all. It was just an observation.
Okay.
I don't know, I guess I'd have to go back and look, because I don't know if I remember seeing the logo on any of them.
I think
Is this some?
Well,
Some of them.
it says Harwich Recreation
And
Department.
then you've got that logo on the top, the multicolored.
No, are you,
Oh, the one from I know what you're talking
is that
about.
on the flyers?
I don't
Or
think
is he looking at the name?
that's the name of the
name?
Instagram
Yeah,
thing.
Okay.
so that would.
But we
be
could put
seen-
that on each
Yeah.
flyer. That's a good idea. In the
I
corner.
think they should just be consistent. That's all.
Yeah, sure.
Instagram.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a question?
The only question is about the flyers, is it because they're coming from multiple different sources? Like, for example, if someone's developing a program and they bring it into you, are you, or like they send you a PDF?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're posting it, is that where maybe it's,
So we've been tinkering with them. They do get sent to us by the volunteer that's running the program, and then we change it if we have to add information or, you know, put our Harwich Recreation Department on it. But I think the idea of putting that, I like that logo
Yeah,
on every flyer somewhere
I love
is a
this
good
logo.
idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
I
imagine.
made it. I did.
That's all for me, thank you.
Awesome, no, great comment. Brian, any comment on the director's report?
I don't know, forgive me if I'm out of line on this one, the Brooks Park projects, does that include all the playground, like stuff that's, like the fence that needs repair?
That's not the CPC
That's not
project,
that.
but that's all stuff that has work orders in currently.
Okay.
The playground equipment is still coming, so we're
Okay.
still waiting on that piece for the spinner.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's all separate from the
Okay.
Brooks CPC project.
Gotcha. Okay.
At this point, can we talk about the project, the pickleball courts and what's going on at Brooks Park? Because there has been some questions.
We're still on the director's report. Do you
We're
want to
not-
finish going around?
Yeah, we're
Do we
not
have
there yet. Well, are we there? Because he did mention
I don't know when we
Brooks Park.
discussed that.
project updates. We could
I don't
pull
know.
it in now.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, Frank, go ahead. What are your questions?
There's been some question on the measurements that the posts are or the fences is and so forth. Everything is on the print, but these guys have a way of not looking at the prints quite often, just judging by questions that we've received, like how far apart are the pickleball posts? Well, it's right on the print, but they have a way of sometimes not showing the prints to the fence people. And there has been some discussion that I've got emails on that some dimensions are incorrect. So I'd like someone to take some measurements, very simple measurements. 64 feet, center line to center line, are the posts. So half of that is 32 feet. So the center fence should rip right down the middle, 32 feet. And from there, they start to put in the post, the sleeves for the post. And I've got some dimensions that are off by like quite a bit. It's very important on the sidelines from the pickleball courts to the fence. And those dimensions I heard are not exactly correct.
Did somebody measure them already, or no?
Well, I guess a couple of pickleball people have gone over there, and so from the fence, the center fence to the first post, center line to center line on the fence is 6 feet. We're supposed to have 6 feet of measurement on each side of from the court to the fence. Of course, the lines aren't painted now, but that's fine. We have to make sure it's 32 feet down the middle, and from that center line of the fence to the center line of where the post is, the sleeve is there now, I understand, should be 6 feet.
Madam
Actually,
Chair, if I
5
may.
feet,
Yes.
inches, because I made it an inch more on each side to get some stretch on the neck.
Nico Lynch, you mean the guy from?
Also,
Hold on, Frank. Frank, this is going on kind of quasi deaf ears here, because we don't have any idea what you're talking about. Is there a project manager for this?
Yes, Eric.
well,
is
that's
it-
the question. I mean, the
Hold
print.
on, Frank, hold on, I'm trying to get an answer.
Well, Nico Lynch is who I've been working with at Lawrence Lynch, so I could go over there and meet with him, and we can measure it out to make
That's
sure.
what you should be doing. You shouldn't be having this conversation here with us,
Right.
and
Yeah.
in my
Can I go
opinion.
to?
Sure, sure.
Would you like?
Okay,
to
Frank, I'm
email
sorry,
you
I
the
just, why
dimensions?
don't you, Frank, can you email
Eric,
Eric what your concerns are?
And I'll bring it right to him.
I don't know if they put up the fabric. The fabric, that's what they call the fence. But it's right on the print. The fence is to be 3/4 of an inch or an inch from the base surface, from the asphalt.
Okay.
Yeah, button up the fence.
And
Just-
the last time, of course, that wasn't done. They had to redo it. Same outfit.
Just, yeah, email that over to me, Frank, and I'll meet with Nico Lynch.
Okay.
And just to make sure that everything's the right way.
Yeah. I don't know how you correct it if it isn't. I know how you correct it, but it's not easy. Not nice.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get that to you, Eric.
Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay.
okay, moving on, property maintenance report. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Did you have a question on director's report? Sorry about that.
No,
Okay,
as I would like to go there for that, looking at the.
Sure.
okay,
Sure.
noted. And property maintenance report.
Sorry,
Nope,
I was
that's okay.
writing that last thing that you wanted to go. Property maintenance report is pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, the Brooks Park, we have work orders for some of the repairs. For some of the fencing, I have a call in. I actually called the fence guy that Lawrence Lynch is using currently to see if they could do some little side projects on the side.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for him to set up a time with me that we could do a little tour of different, there's a little fencing projects at Brooks, Senior Memorial Field, a couple different places.
Okay.
So I should be doing that. And then the playground equipment is on order. And that's my update. And then again, any questions?
No questions here, John?
It'd be nice to get that company on speed dial, because we're not.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
we're
gonna
not
keep
getting any
them. Yeah,
satisfaction
believe
out
me.
of the Cape.
I've heard they're really good too.
Yeah,
Tepper
Nope.
fencing, I believe it's called. Yeah.
Brian?
No questions? No?
Dave?
All set.
Okay, Phyllis? Frank, any questions on the director's report? On the property maintenance report?
No, come on.
Okay, budget report?
Budget report, I know Dave had questions. This is the Munis report that Elaine printed out today. So this is as up to date as it gets as far as Munis goes. It shows the revenue versus expense for revolving, and then on the other side, it shows the other half of the budget. But it doesn't have it won't show a total balance right now. But is that what you were asking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so is this the most recent update?
This is well,
Have you received one previous to this?
no, it's whenever we print it out. We don't receive them.
Yeah, so you're not, okay, so you,
Yeah.
there was a time where you were getting them automatically. That's not
No,
happening now?
we print them out for the meeting every month, so you guys can see them.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
Kind of one, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Questions? Phyllis, any questions? No. Okay, moving on. Frank, any questions on the budget report?
No, no question.
Don't put a sign there for me. No, that's fine. All right, chairman's report. The 2023 annual report due by Friday, January 5th, 2024.
That I'm working on currently.
Awesome.
My process is I write it up, I send it to you guys. Any changes, additions, subtractions, you send it back, and then I submit.
Okay. The CCBC proposal, I think we can push that off.
yeah,
We don't really have any.
Van just wanted you guys to know of this proposal from the Cape Cod Baseball Club that was looking for gym space either here or at the 204. He does understand it's not our gyms to book. He just wanted to make it known to you guys. We don't have any control over actually booking this in a gymnasium. But he also asked, I believe, to table it when he can be here to explain further.
Okay. Open meeting law training materials. I think everybody got those emails.
Yeah, and there's a sheet in there too with all the links in case
Okay.
you don't have it.
Perfect. And, December meeting, we need to make a vote to change to either 12/12 or 12/19 or cancel altogether. December's a busy month. I am going to make a motion that we hold it 12/12.
Second.
All those in favor?
if needed.
If needed? Okay,
I may not be available.
okay.
Okay, so that's the other thing you gotta get, because Ryan's not gonna be available.
Right, okay. Does 12/19 work better for you, Dave? I feel that I feel we have some old business moving forward that we may want
Yeah.
to have a discussion on in
We
December.
definitely should have a meeting at
Okay.
some point. Yeah, I think.
I'm available.
For the entire month of December? Or those 2
I
days,
will
I
be-
mean. I didn't mean the entire month, I'm
I'm
sorry.
available.
Okay. Does 12/12 or 12/19 work for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
As long as we're
12/12.
at 4.
So we'll do 12/12, okay? Phyllis, does 12/12 work for you? That works for you. Frank, does 12/12 work for you for joining the next meeting?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Leah, can I just share with you?
Oh, yes,
one
please.
thing? So we're talking about having a joint meeting with your committee.
Sure.
And we're looking at either either 12-4 or 12-11, so I just want to put that out there.
I did hear from Carol Campos today, and she told me 12/11.
Yeah, right,
Is
that's,
the tentative
it's
date,
looking like
yeah.
it's gonna be
Yep.
12-11, so I
Okay.
just want to share that because,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Should we move it to 12/11 from 12/12? Can we do that? Do we have to be on Tuesdays?
Oh, you mean with that,
We
we-
have to
This
post,
would be a
it has to
joint
be
meeting.
posted anyhow.
that would be a
Okay.
separate meeting.
Separate
right?
okay.
It wouldn't be a
Joint
normal
meeting with the
record.
Board of Selectmen would be for the 11th, and then our monthly meeting would be on the 12th.
Yeah,
Okay,
Two separate postings.
yeah.
okay. Are you okay doing this 2 days in a row?
We do what we have to do.
All right, perfect.
Subject to change.
All right, there we have it. Okay, so a vote for our next meeting to be moved to 12/12. Motion? No motion?
No, you could just agree to it. Yeah,
Okay,
you don't need-
everybody agrees?
Yep.
12/12 it is.
Because I have to be sitting next to you, is that why you're?
Yes, yes, yes. I don't always know. I'm trying to figure it out here. All right. Liaison reports. CPC, Mr. Nixon.
Mr. Eric is gonna be in front of us shortly, and we're moving on.
December 9th.
Questions?
Short and sweet. That was nice, thank you. Yeah,
Oh, I have one question, actually. I have another letter of support coming. Can I bring it on the night that I come? I mean, if,
Absolutely.
okay, yeah.
Just make
Copies, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
okay. Facilities committee.
No, that's Van.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all good. Fee facilities subcommittee.
All right, want me to take the lead on that one? All right. So the facilities subcommittee met a second time where we went over some proposed changes to both the rules for use of ball fields and parks and the facility form, the one that includes the fees. And in your packet, each one is in there with changes, proposed changes in red. So me, Leah, and Phyllis met, and I could kind of walk you through what we were thinking. For the rules of the use of ball fields and parks, the big changes, big ones that we could change, we added in under number 8, that we would also ask permission of the building department for any signs that were displayed. If people are putting up a sign, if people are sorry,
I didn't get that in my packet.
this one?
Okay, yeah, I don't see it
I
in
see Leah
mine.
going through hers.
Does everybody
I'm looking
have
for
this?
mine now.
Okay.
Nothing? I emailed
You-
it out to
you
you guys.
emailed it
Yeah.
and-
separate,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was in the packet.
No, I'm not
No.
seeing it.
Okay, well, I could walk you through it anyway. So number 8 was to change, just add in that they need to go to the building department for a sign permit. If they're holding a sign, it's not, you don't need the permit, but if there's any kind of sign advertising say a private lacrosse camp or anything that comes to the fields, they'd have to go to the building department as well. Number 11 is just about the alcohol beverages not allowed on town facilities. The only thing we added is that you can get a 1-day liquor license, may be obtained with the approval of the Harwich Selectmen. And the only other real change there was under field maintenance, number 15. At the end of it, it says that the decision whether or not the field may be played on after inclement weather will be made by the recreation director, or it used to say Mr. It was Rich Berube.
Right.
We were going to put in Jared Hopkins. Highway Department asked that we just put DPW Parks Division representative.
That's what
So
I was
that's what we'll put in. Those are the biggest changes to the rule. The rules weren't as much that needed the changes as the actual policies and fees. For the policies and fees form, we added in on the top of our form, we have options of where you can book, all the different facilities that you can book. We separated out Brooks Field / pickleball or tennis courts. And then we also have a separate option now for Brooks Park and Pavilion. So that's the pickleball side of that pavilion versus the gazebo or town bandstand. The nonprofit wordage in here, this was pretty much already in there, but if you're a nonprofit, you have to attach your 501c3 certification. And then we also added in that nonprofit 501c3 organizations may apply for fee waivers, reductions through written requests to the Harwich Rec and Youth Commission. Requests will be considered on a case-by-case basis, which is basically how we've been doing it. Under bookings, we're trying to do, we talked about doing a time block system instead of just booking, you know, if you wanted to have a baseball game from 5 to 7:30. We talked about having 3-hour blocks that would consist of 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., 9 a.m. to noon, 12 to 3, 3 to 6, and 6 to 9. So there'd be a fee for each 3-hour time block. The fees for those time blocks for any park, court, other than White House, would be $30 per 3-hour block, as opposed to what it was, $20 per use. This would also, so if you use 2 or more of these time blocks in a given day, it would constitute a full day use. So then you'd be paying the full day fee, because you'd be booking up 6 hours of the day, which is kind of going to make it hard for other people to book that around that. So like I said, it's $30 per 3-hour time block use. The cap on that for any field but White House, if it's is $1,500, and that would be 50 or less, 50 or more uses. But if you hit 75 or more uses, the cap would increase to $2,000. So it's a sliding scale cap. So again, it would be $30 a use, $1,500 cap, $2,000 cap if it's more 75 or more uses. It's not going to apply to too many organizations, but it's to discourage blanket booking of any field or facility. And then when you get to White House Field, which is a premier field and has a lot more costs associated with it, the same block system, 3-hour blocks, $70 per block instead of the $50 that it was, with a $2,000 cap. But if you go to 50 or more uses, it would raise the cap to $3,000. So same sliding scale, just different numbers on that. This would mostly affect, for White House Field, it would affect the Mariners and the schools. The schools, though, can come to us for fee reductions and waivers, which they can because they're a nonprofit. So they could come to us and ask for a fee reduction. We don't want to outprice the schools,
Quick question.
Go ahead, yeah.
Madam Chair,
Sure, yep.
are we including the use of the lights in this?
I'm getting to that one.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay. So I'll skip ahead to lights because we were talking about White House. So for the lights, we have it currently at $80 an hour, which seems okay. What we are proposing, and that I didn't bring up, we just started looking at the numbers, that I'm proposing for the first time now is a scoreboard fee. The electricity usage for the scoreboard, we get bills for that, and there's no accounting for that electricity.
It's a separate bill?
It's a
outside of
separate
the
bill
lights?
from the lights, yep. So our bills this past season were over $1,000 for the scoreboard electric bill. They separated out on the electric bill.
Meters, yep, okay.
There's a meter on that scoreboard?
I believe so, yep, because we have 2 separate reports.
I don't remember that.
So what I was thinking was a $20 per use fee for the scoreboard, which would cover, the $1,000 bill or so that we had this year for the scoreboard alone, separate from the lights. I'll keep going. So when I talked about the 3-hour blocks, and if somebody used 2 or more blocks, and it would constitute a full day event at any field, park, it was $150 a day. The proposal is for that to be $175 per day. That would also go along with the Park Beach field use or White House field use. So if you had a multi-day tournament, it'd be $175 per day instead of $150 per day. That obviously still wouldn't include the lights, scoreboard if you're using White House field. The only other thing that we have proposed changed here is on the bottom of it. We have, for less than 100 people, certain deposits are required. We had less than 100 people was $50, greater than 100 people is $100, I believe. We tried to make it more consistent. If it's less than 100 people, it's a $100 deposit. If it's more than 100 people, it's a $200 deposit. If it's more than 200 people, it's a $300 deposit and going up. So it's progressive, yeah. So those are the proposed changes for the field policy form for you guys to consider. Once you guys do review it and let us know what you want to do, it would obviously have to go to the Board of Selectmen next for their consideration.
Does that have to be, Madam Chair, does that have to be voted this evening?
No.
There's no time crunch on that.
No, nothing has to be voted tonight.
When is the plan to open booking?
We'd like to open bookings when the MyRec website is good to go, which is in January. So, hopefully by next month, we can get a vote from you guys, so we can go before the selectmen for final changes before people start filling these out.
I'm just trying to think time, so if we meet
The
12,
12th.
and then, do we know the Board of Selectmen, what's the date?
Monday night. No, it's Monday night.
Yes, so the 11th, so.
We'll meet on the 12th.
But you meet every week, right?
We meet.
But we can meet every Monday.
Yeah, so we could go with them the following week.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
All right, good.
There'll be several before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I just didn't pay
Didn't know
enough
if you
attention to
guys
that.
had
The fact that
all
we're
scheduled,
voted
whatever.
Okay.
So I have some additional comments.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Okay.
I'll go around. John, any
No,
comments
right
on
now.
that? Brian, any questions or comments? A lot
no.
of numbers.
Wrote all of
All
them.
right. Dave, any questions, comments?
Tons of questions for the Board of Selectmen.
Oh,
Phyllis.
Okay, so after we had our discussions and I went home and I looked at everything with a fine tooth comb, and I would add where we, on number 4, the trash, that when someone rents the park, it says fields, but I think it should pertain to parks and courts also, that when people rent those, and the pavilion. I mean, you don't know who's been there. Sometimes there are 40 people at the pavilion having a huge party and
Oh, I see
whatever.
what you're saying.
Yeah. I would just say any rental area.
Right, any
just all
rental is
encompassed
bring your own
in-
trash bags and take your trash away.
Facilities. Yeah.
Because, especially with the courts, they're way back in the corner, or the pavilion, and who knows what happens at night when everyone leaves with animals,
Sure.
et cetera. The other thing on here is it doesn't really have it has on the top what you're checking off, the pavilion, the gazebo, all that stuff, but it's not really, it just says park, beach, or field use. And it doesn't say specifically, to me, it would be confusing.
Well, it says field, park, beach, or court.
Right,
One
so,
use.
but it's $175 to rent the pavilion?
For the full day, if you rent it for a full day.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 or more time blocks.
So if
It
you
would be a
rent,
full day
okay, so if
use.
you're having I don't know, to me it's confusing because it just says park, doesn't spell out what park means. Like if you're just renting the pavilion,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know, I'm confused.
Well, what we could do is we could just say facility,
Yeah.
one use, and generalize it a
Right,
little
right,
more,
and just define it a little bit
You
better,
could
so.
even just take that piece and just write facility with a line, like specify which
Right,
facility.
right,
Yeah.
and then it would be,
Yeah.
it would be clear to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is the time block for the courts to me doesn't work, because the courts are closer to people's houses, and if someone rents a court at 6 in the morning, I know there are gonna be complaints. I just know it.
Do we have hours on
Well,
the courts? Because it can be, these are the blocks within the hours.
There are people
so
playing there now at 6.
I think
Yeah.
it means it's
6 in the morning, but I think with the court they took down all the trees as a buffer from the houses, and now the new courts are closer to houses, and I just don't want to, I'd rather not have people complain and
Yeah.
then set it up so that, I just don't think those hours really work for the courts.
So-
That's all.
We very rarely have bookings at 6 a.m.
No, people just
but-
show up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, excuse me for a moment. Define courts. Are we talking about the tennis courts?
All the courts.
The pickleball courts?
Right, if I would just exclude, maybe, I don't know, I just don't wanna see problems happen, I almost wanna say, you can't come at 6 in the morning.
There's a bunch of people that play
Yeah, I
tennis
think-
at 6 o'clock in the morning. There's also a bunch of
Right.
people that come in and wipe the pickleball courts off and play at 6 o'clock in the
Right,
morning.
not, well, not this time, maybe in the summer.
Well, not in
The tennis-
obviously
yeah.
not now.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying.
concerned with the new courts and the buffer of the trees being gone and closer to houses, that there'll be complaints, and I'd rather not say that we rent it at 6. People might play there on occasion, and will they play on those new courts or they play on the old courts? I don't know. The tennis
What do you
players
think?
usually start at 7:30.
Use your instinct.
They'll probably play on the new courts. I'd rather put a sign that says,
But
you
if
know,
we have other things open, so
Yeah.
I 100% agree that the baseball fields, softball fields should be
Right.
because you have teams out there warming up at 7 for 8 a.m. games.
Yeah.
You know, when they have double headers and whatnot. So those numbers work. I feel like for everywhere else. If the pickleball courts were to have a set start time, they could still
Show
right, they
up.
can still
those
rent them, but
blocks,
yeah,
but they wouldn't be able to play until that start time. I mean, I think we're gonna hit it either way.
right, I just don't wanna, well, because at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock is a better, it's setting 6 to 9 and 9 to 12, it's better starting at, say, 8, if you're gonna rent it, than 9.
Like separate blocks for the courts? or-
Well, first of all, who's gonna block, and I'm asking for your opinion.
Yeah.
Who's gonna block it out 6 to 9? Or 6 to 8?
I think 6 to 9, you're gonna see more open play than people actually booking it at
Right.
6 to 9.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And then maybe we ask them to use,
Right,
in the morning, maybe it just gets out amongst the
Right.
pickleball or the email or whatever. Then in the morning, be courteous and use the courts
right,
closest to
right, the
tennis
old,
courts.
use the,
Mhm.
yes,
I mean,
Yeah.
and then if an issue comes up, we deal with it.
Cross that bridge, yep.
Cause I don't think there's a ton of people there, but I have seen people there
Oh,
at
yeah,
6 a.m.
open, yeah. Yep.
Quick question, does the MyRec have the ability to give a separate calendar for the courts?
Yep.
So we could
Right.
just set the courts to start at 8 and everything else have the time blocks, and then the court have their own time block. Still following the time block 3 hours
Yeah,
at a
yeah.
time, but just the pickleball courts start at 8, everything else
I
starts
wanna
at
make it
6.
clear.
Yep.
Are we blocking out everything for pickleball or everything for tennis? Is there no open space for the general public?
No,
to
these are
come
just
in?
available blocks.
And I understand that, but you're talking about,
Do you mean like walk-up people?
yeah, limiting the time that those things are gonna be open. So,
If it's booked, I guess is the way it currently would be.
so there's no open space there at all?
Unless nobody books it, so if nobody books the 3 to 6, it's just wide open and
I
3 to 6
thought
and
we
people
were
just
under
walk
the
in.
I was under the impression we were gonna have, within the new courts or the old courts,
Mhm.
a period of time where anybody in this town
Mhm.
who pays taxes
Yep.
can come up and
we are.
play whatever individual game they wanted to play.
So the plan was, Dave, with the new courts being there, 1 or 2 of those courts would be strictly for open play.
So that is
So they
designed
fit.
in this.
Has nothing to do with the block.
Yeah,
Okay. As
like
long
when
as-
when
I
people
just
go to
wanted to
block,
make it
yeah,
clear.
if all like 10 other courts are booked, we're not gonna book them on the open play court. You know what I mean? That stays as open play.
So
Okay,
there will always be an open play
Yeah,
court available.
Exactly.
But if the other ones are
At
blocked
least one.
and people walk in and use the open play court, then the next person has to wait.
right.
Yeah,
There'll
that's
be no
just the-
policing of the open
Right.
courts.
No.
I
They
just
will
wanna make
be-
sure that in the framework that we're developing,
Mhm.
it's plugged in.
Yeah, no,
But probably
absolutely.
in knowing other programs, MyRec, you can set it up however you want. The courts will have to be renumbered,
Mhm.
and once they're renumbered, you'd set it up by number of
X court
blocks.
is open.
Yep,
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
right,
in all
right
the-
now,
Yeah, court 9 is always
Right.
open. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
the same with tennis courts, they're not numbered either, so.
No.
Tennis courts is never an issue.
Yeah, we've
Should
never had
we-
to.
I know
Yeah.
how much you guys love the signs. Should we put on the open courts a time limit sign? Or no?
There should be
Like, yeah, like
signs.
On the
like
open
There
court,
should
yeah.
be-
Yeah, like a pool table. Like no
Right,
more
there
than-
should be an
I don't know
official
how
sign
long
like on the
pickleball games are,
field.
so.
You know, on the big, over by the gazebo, there's a huge sign with many, many rules, but there should be a very official sign, not just the signs that we make and
Yeah.
laminate, but a real
Yeah,
official
we can get a
sign
real
that says,
sign made.
this time frame if people are waiting, and
Yeah,
et cetera.
it's kind of like in the gym, if people are on a machine. Yeah.
But in the past, just a question, in the past, haven't the tennis courts all been rented to like Latham Center to do, their
They did a
rating thing?
tournament.
Yeah, but they rented all the courts.
But if that, I think if that's like
It's a
a
once a
one
year
day
thing, I know.
don't think
Yeah.
that's really the
Right.
effective.
It's more, yeah, it's more the everyday stuff,
Yeah.
like the rec program, you
Right.
know.
And it's no different than when pickleball has their pickleball fest in the fall.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Right.
take every court down there.
Yeah,
Right.
It's an event.
it's a
Yep.
special event, yep.
Yeah.
And I know the high school uses the courts sometimes, for
They
gym-
come over at gym,
Right,
every,
which
you know,
is-
almost
yeah.
every day.
So, yep. Okay. Any, I forget, what are we moving on?
We were on the
Fees,
phone.
facility
yeah.
Oh,
policy.
and my other thing is,
Yeah.
this is not about the fees necessarily, but it would be nice to have signs on the pavilion that it's available for rent, or, you know, not, doesn't have to be a big sign, but just something so people will know, because otherwise they come for birthday parties all the time, and, which is great, and a lot of times it's just available and free, but if they knew they could rent it,
Yeah.
then they
Sure.
maybe would.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I think that has to be realistic, that there's not gonna be a person there checking rentals
Oh,
every
yeah.
Saturday
Oh, yeah.
afternoon.
It's like the
You-
cook fires.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. If they do their due diligence and rent, great.
Yeah.
But maybe,
But they don't have to, but if they
Yeah.
might want to.
yeah, signs everywhere. Got it?
Signs.
Yeah, not everywhere, I'm
More
not talking about a
signs.
big ugly sign, a
Some
nice
love
little
sign.
sign that,
It's your favorite thing.
but they might not even know that it's there, and they could have their family party there because
Sure.
they don't wanna have it at their house.
Absolutely.
But does it have to be fee-based?
It should be, I mean,
Why
If they-
should it be fee-based?
If they wanna use it for a party,
If they want to reserve it,
yeah, if
Yeah.
they wanna reserve it,
but if they just wanna show up and roll the
Take a
dice,
chance.
yeah,
that John comes after, if you set up and I come and I have it reserved, you have to
Yeah.
leave.
right.
Thankfully, we haven't come across that.
nope,
So we're talking, we're,
yeah, problem that hasn't happened.
exactly.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion on the facilities report? Or facilities subcommittee policy report, whatever, yeah, you guys know. No, all right, old business, winter program update.
All right, so what we have, I put in your packet, just a listing of all our programs, and this refers to some of the flyers you've seen. I'll just kind of walk you through what we got right now. We just finalized setting up a youth pickleball clinic that's gonna be run over at the 204. So that's gonna be on Mondays, starting in January. We have a that's a new program. We have another new program called the Youth Simple Fitness Program that's gonna be run Mondays here at the community center.
Eric, can I
Sure.
just pause you for one
Yeah,
second?
yeah, sure.
Do you have current roster numbers on these things as we go? If you don't,
Yeah,
that's fine, I'm
you-
just wondering. if
I
you
could
can-
give you like roundabout. I don't
Yeah,
have-
roundabout would be awesome.
Youth pickleball, we just finalized it, so we haven't opened the
Okay.
registration yet. We're
Perfect.
getting the flyer together.
Yep.
Youth Simple Fitness, we have about 5 or 6 kids right now.
Okay,
K12 basketball clinic is Saturdays. That's one we've always run. That is not a new program. It's going to be 2 sessions. Right now, session 1, we have, I believe, 14 kids. And that starts up Saturday. Indoor Sunday soccer, that's a new one that Kristen and Brian Wentworth are running for us over at the 204. It is also 2 sessions. The first session has, I believe, 40-something people right now signed up. And
That's
session
new, right?
that's new. The Hoops with Noop Winter Basketball Clinic, that is new for the winter. We've done Hoops with Noop clinics before, but never in the winter during basketball season. That one has about 10 kids so far right now. Travel basketball, we have a couple teams this year for the Travel Rec League, 3-4 girls team and 3-4 boys team currently. They will start practices next week, and they start games in January. So they play home games Mondays and Wednesdays. Practices are available. They're still picking their times, the coaches, Tuesdays and Thursdays in the gym here. Indoor field hockey is a new program run by Leah, our own Leah. For all grades, it's basically grades K to 12 at different time blocks. But we're up to, how many was the last
31?
one? Yeah, 31, yep. Family Friday night, movie night is a new one for us too. We're putting one on here now, but we plan to do a whole series of them. We just want to see how the first night goes. We haven't gotten any pre-registrations yet for that, but people tend, for an event like that, people tend to kind of do it the week before, see what their schedule is. It's gonna, we're gonna have popcorn. I think we're playing Frozen, the movie. Seems like the popular one. And we'll keep going from there, different movie nights. And we're thinking even maybe different age group ones. So you'll have like the real young kids for movies like Frozen, and maybe a little, like maybe some sports-oriented movies for some older kids. That's the plan. We have the Saturday family open gym times, we have the all-age open gym times, and we have the after-school program, which we've always had. We're also currently working on, we have a gymnastics instructor. We're just looking on a consistent space to have it. The 204 gymnasium right now is, with all these new programs, is pretty much full. Between adult pickleball during the day, there is one night that they do line dancing over there through the Cape Cod Health Group. So that's not available. And the gym here right now is pretty full. But we're looking into the multi-room here, and it would be a very beginner's program, like tumbling almost. So we may even be able to do it in an activity room. So we do have the mats, we do have a potential instructor. We're just trying to finalize the rooms. And the other, we're actually looking into some spring stuff already. We're gonna do a spring kickoff event, which we've done in the past for summers, where we have, it's a free event out back of the building here. We have like pickup soccer games, flag football games. We grill hot dogs. We have all our flyers out for the spring programming, just kind of promote everything. We've done it before and it's been a success in the past. So it's a good way, another good way to get stuff out there. I've also met with somebody that could be potentially interested in doing a spring volleyball program for youth. He can't do a winter program. What's that? Indoor. He can't do a winter program, but he is very experienced in volleyball.
Can I ask what his name is?
It's Turco. Yeah. He said he'd be potentially interested in the spring for a youth one. And the other one we're looking at in the spring is I met with somebody else, and I don't have his name off the top of my head, but about the spring intro to golf program. The Cranberry Valley does have some youth golf programs, but we're thinking very intro, you know, basic etiquette of golf, basic swinging, you know, all the very basics of the program. So those are some things on the burner right now. And if you guys have questions.
So that was maybe possible new programs for spring.
Yeah, golf and volleyball would be new. Yeah.
And then obviously, what do you have on for returning programs?
For spring?
Yeah.
We'd have the pre-farm league, the clinic style one, and the after-school program, the farm league. We did a flag football last year in the spring that we'd like to bring back again, especially since it didn't go this fall. What else did we have? We have the spring kickoff event. We're going to continue to run the movie series night. And I'm trying to find somebody that knows something about lacrosse to teach a clinic on that. Because I would do it myself, but they would not benefit from my teachings in lacrosse.
Intertown softball?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, Intertown, the Travel Softball League. We put it out for 3rd and 4th grade girls and 5th and 6th grade girls. That's the Lower Cape Rec League.
Is there a price for that?
What's that?
Is there a price on that?
The Travel League? It's usually $50. And we're up for suggestions for anything else.
I would probably just you said 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th. So 5th and 6th, they're already at middle school on the 5-day-a-week team. So that would probably be like a tight.
I know. Well, that's something I have to bring to the whole Lower Cape Rec League because they set the grade levels, you know. But we'll have a spring meeting leading up to that at the end of the winter.
Yeah. I mean, because even like a early, like a T-ball 1 and 2, 3 and 4 teams, you'd probably get a much larger roster than that 5 and 6 girls who are already playing 5 days a week.
I see what you're saying. Yep. Okay. So like even younger than Farm League, you're saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Pre-K. Okay. I'll see if they're interested in the league too.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question?
Sure. We'll start with you, Mr. Nixon.
To Eric?
Yep.
The Family Friday night, there's no fee for that, correct?
No. It's just popcorn. and a movie.
Where they do it in the gym?
We're gonna do it in the multi-purpose room. They have the big screen, yeah, yep.
I know the
Can
community.
I do a follow-up?
Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead.
How do these numbers stack up against the surrounding towns?
These now that, I mean, we have with Leah and Kristen and the volunteers that we've had come forward, we're right there with the new program, yep.
Thank you.
Question, oh yes, I had a question. On the movie night, I
Mhm.
know the, community center, it does one as
Yep.
well. Can you guys combine your
Well,
efforts?
yeah, we were thinking about doing that. I did talk to Carolyn about it.
Okay,
For our first one, we were gonna just try one.
sure.
And then we'll either combine or rotate weeks even, like, so there's maybe even one like every week,
Oh, okay.
you know? So we
Sure.
were thinking that, and I know the PTO puts one on, I believe, too.
Yes.
So we don't wanna interfere with theirs
Yeah,
either.
once a
So-
month, once a
Yeah,
month.
they do one.
Oh, it's once a
Yeah.
month, okay.
So,
So we checked on their schedule as well.
sure, I know, maybe other
Winter
things
time.
too, yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, the other thing we were looking into for a night thing, you said other than movies, we used to do a thing called Candy Bar Bingo. So we're thinking about bringing that back.
Oh, beginner
That-
gambling.
That's a good one. Well, you bring a candy
I
bar.
will be at
Yeah.
bingo Thursday here, so.
There you go.
Should have one the same night, kids over there, moms over, no, I'm
Yes,
kidding, so.
put the curtain down in the gym.
That's it, that's it. Okay, any more questions on the winter program update? John,
No, I'm good.
Brian?
How close are we on the sign up, electronic sign up for MyRec?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna get to that. I have it as an agenda item, but I could do it now if you want.
Yeah, why don't we push the MyRec up and
Yeah.
then we'll end with our last, civil business.
Sure. So we did, I believe this, did you guys get this one in your packet? So this is the timeline, of what the company gave to us for there's 4 phases: discovery, construction, training, and launch. We're currently in the middle of a construction phase. The training's kind of misnamed because there's also training in the discovery mode. So we met with the MyRec system. We just submitted a whole bunch of information that they need to put on the site to construct the site itself.
Do you have an extra one? I do not.
Yeah, you can have
one
mine.
in my
Yep.
packet. Okay, thank you.
I also met with the town administrator and we ran a demo for him and the MyRec people, ran it for him. They're looking at a launch date of around January 8th. The only thing holding up now, so that January 8th, everything would be ready, you know, calendars, brochures, signups, forms online, the payment method online, which is an important part of it for us, for people to be able to pay online with a credit card, is dependent right now upon the finance team at Town Hall. So we reached out to them about setting up their end of it. We could give all the fees and the programs, they have to set up their end of the payment part.
Yeah.
Finance is working on it. They said they probably won't be able to finalize their end of that until the end of January. So
Can I ask why?
you'd have to ask them. They're working on a lot of munis and budget stuff right now, so.
So, hypothetically, if we can pay bills online for the town, like
Yep.
we can pay our taxes online,
Yep.
pay water bills, whatever, can they transfer that system?
I don't think it's that easy. There's an intricate way of setting up a credit card payment system that we were told by Kathleen, the finance director,
Okay.
that she has to set up a credit card system for the newly constructed site that she can get to at the end of January.
Okay.
We're gonna try to keep pushing on that on our end, but we could do everything on the, you know, if January 8th is our launch date, our set launch date, we could have everything on there. People could fill out the forms, send in the forms, but until they click go on their end,
Yeah.
they can't do the payments.
Would that hold up launching the website thing?
No, no.
As far as like the reservation?
Nope. You can still launch the website with everything except for the online payment capability,
Okay.
which we'll give them all the information, but we can't make it, they have to make it happen on their end. We can't
Okay.
do that part. Not the MyRec end, the finance end.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Would they have the availability to sign up and then receive an email, say 2 weeks later once it's up, and say payment is ready and due?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
we
that
could do
something
something like,
that
yeah,
could
absolutely,
happen?
yeah, yeah.
That way
Yep.
people can already get to, that way you have your numbers, people can sign up, they can
Yeah, we'll
secure
s-
their spots for summer camp.
And they would
or
still
this or
secure,
that or
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, they'd be able to fill out the whole form, the liability. We can open it up to sign up, so that means once they sign up and submit it, it'll go onto like a roster that's formulated on the system. It just would still say unpaid until
Right.
the system's
And
able to
then,
be
so,
paid.
and then the whole roster would get a mass email that would say,
Yeah, sure,
we're ready for payment, you have
yep.
10 days.
And then they'd
whatever,
still have the
but-
option, like they could wait, they could wait till it's ready on there, or they could still come in if they wanted to, but if you don't want to, obviously.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that. I'm just wondering if that would get a bit muddled with this person paid and now check, like, I guess I'd have to see.
It keeps track for you on there,
So you
too.
can, so if someone comes in and pays cash, you can,
Yeah, you check it off on the website.
Okay.
From there's like a manager area that you get into the site and manage things, and then there's the public side of it. So you
Right.
can go in, yeah.
okay. Questions?
Launch is 1/8, is that what I, is
That's
that what you
what
said?
they're telling us,
That's
yeah.
what they're shooting for.
Yep,
And the finance part of it is best case scenario into January.
that's what she told us, yeah.
I'd sure like to see that.
Well, I mean, I can,
At the same time,
I
I know.
I can pay my water bill with Venmo, so can we throw that on you?
You know, I'm just saying, I'd like to see the whole thing
I
rolled out.
agree, I agree.
Right.
Bits and pieces, it's kinda
Yeah,
like
I
you know what
know.
you're doing, but
I
you
could
don't
send
know
you
what you're
guys,
doing.
I could forward you the email too from the finance team that we received, so you
Don't-
have it.
no,
Yeah.
No,
leave you.
No,
it's
it's
not,
no.
but it would be nice to, but I also don't wanna see this end of January launch either. That's
Yeah,
another-
I'd rather have everything we could possibly put up as soon as we possibly can put it up on our end, everything we could possibly do.
How do you currently accept credit card payments?
We don't,
You,
it's check or cash, yep.
I feel like I should know that.
So if I ask that question.
Yep. So that's why I think this is such a big piece of it.
Yeah, no, I just, for some reason, I thought you had a machine in here.
Nope.
Okay.
I have a question, are you gonna do waiting lists?
Yes, oh yeah, that's
And
built
limit
into
the-
it.
Limit the waiting list.
It has all kinds of capabilities, there's waiting lists, you could set the program registration max,
Yeah.
and then the waiting list max.
Yeah,
There's even a part to it, it doesn't have to do with waiting list, but I thought it was cool that you can go on, if it's a program where you're gonna get a t-shirt or some kind of equipment or something with it, you'll be able to go on there, when you register, a thing will pop up and say, a t-shirt comes with this program, click your size.
yeah.
And then that'll make it even easier to submit orders for that.
Can I just comment back? I wouldn't, do you have a specific reason you would limit the wait list?
No,
Oh, okay.
well, the part about the wait list is you want it so that they don't pay anything.
Oh, yeah, they wouldn't,
Because
yeah.
if they prepay,
Yep.
then you still have to pay all the fees.
Yep.
And all that
No,
kind of
nobody,
stuff.
if you're on a
So-
wait list, you wouldn't be asked to pay.
Right,
yeah,
right, but just wanna make sure it's set up that way,
Yep.
because I just know from experience that if you then have to refund, you're stuck with the fee.
Yeah, that's a pain. Yeah, that's
So
a
you're
pain.
better off, having the wait list is great,
Sure,
just don't charge for the wait list.
yep, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Mr. Nixon.
Derek, can you use a credit card on the beach stickers?
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
That goes general fund.
I don't care where it goes, you
I
can
know,
use
but I
it.
know what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's been the
Yeah,
issue.
it's in this building. That's why I was like, I know I've used a credit card
Doesn't make
here
any sense.
before.
Ah,
We haven't,
A
yeah,
lot.
Moving on.
No, I don't know. Okay. Any more questions? Brian, John? No? Okay. Oh, Frank, any more questions? Or any questions on the MyRec update?
Yes. The way I understand, we will be able to pay by check online.
yes, you could also pay by check online, yep,
Okay.
yep.
On the
Check,
registration
credit card.
form-
Sorry, Frank, what was that?
On the registration form, you'll have address, and will you also have mailing address if different?
Mailing, yes, wait, what was the first thing you said? You cut out a
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
a lot of people have PO boxes, and that should be on there.
Oh, yeah, that'll all be, the same as it is, yeah, whatever mailing address, yep. And home address, yep.
Yes, okay.
All right, any more questions?
That's it for me on that part.
All right, thanks, Frank.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
last order of old business, we have the parent group proposal and discussion. I believe tonight we have Kristen Wentworth here to discuss from the Friends group.
From the Friends group.
Friends of Harwich.
You guys want me here facing up? So again, I'm Kristen Wentworth. I'm coming before you guys again. Thank you for the time and putting this on your agenda again. I'm coming on behalf of all the parents that were here last week. I've been asked to be the spokesperson for our Friends group, which we created. Van had come up with the idea of developing either a subcommittee or working group. And on that suggestion, we formed our group. We decided to go the route of the Friends group to allow a little bit more feasibility in meeting times so that we could streamline our ability to get together as working parents in this town, all of which have children, young children. With that said, I know we met after our last meeting, and I'm looking back because our other Friends group members are behind us over here. But we met after our last group and had our meeting. We developed a proposed outline that we submitted to you folks as well via email. We tried to do that respectfully in a manner that would allow a good amount of time to pass to review it and to come up with any questions or thoughts that you might have to contribute. Essentially, when looking at this, what we tried to do is develop programming that we thought would be feasible and enough programs. We broke it down into quarters, so spring, winter, summer, fall. With that said, I think we proposed about 6 programs each quarter. In addition to that, we also asked that 2 special events be run each quarter. So with that said, special events, just to give us a sample of what that might look like, would be, I know Brewster Chatham are doing breakfast with Santa, or cookies with Mrs. Claus, or something along that line. That would kind of fulfill that category of special events that we were considering. As we kind of came up with these programs, I also developed a cost breakdown for each of the programs. I have that here. I apologize that I didn't email that out beforehand, but if you wanted to take a look at these.
Sure.
You get one anyway.
So again, these are estimated costs based on equipment that might need to be purchased. The caveat to that is this is not accounting for the fact that the rec department likely has a good majority of some of this stuff, but I wanted to provide a comprehensive list of things that might be needed, and then comparing that to what the cost per participant would look like. So as you look at that, it's a pretty good profit that would be made through these programs that would be running. In terms of our other thing that I wanted to point out on there would be the timelines that we're looking to try and make these programs available to register. So if you look just at the top of the sheet, it'll say opening March 1st, for example, would be the spring session. The registration for that we would be looking at opening in the beginning of January, which now that you're talking, Eric, about the running of the MyRec opening at that time, that would be fantastic to get that up and running. I think the idea of a big launch is something that we talked about to really get people on board with. We're doing our best to try and revamp these programs. We want to get parents, we want to get kids involved and trying to get some excitement around it. I think a lot of what we have talked about and what we've seen, even with the winter programming, is timing that it's been made available being a barrier. People are just going to other towns because they see, oh, well, there's only 8 people signed up. It's probably going to get canceled. I'm going to go to this other town. Other than that, I wanted to kind of open up to you all for your support. We're hoping to support this proposal that we've put forward and trying to implement this program the best possible. Obviously, I'm sure you have questions, and I'd love to chat more about that. Any questions that anybody might have for
myself. Or thoughts? Anything really?
Thank you. I do have a question. The separate offerings for rec programs, can you just kind of walk that through really quickly?
Where are you looking at?
Here.
AQ on the
yeah,
far right.
AQ.
From the regular.
Oh, yep, so this would also be, I know it was brought up at the last meeting, the summer camp availability and having that available to parents to sign up. Something that they could register for in January that would be for the summer, so that they are able to plan camps for their kids. I know a lot of the other towns have that available and you need to make decisions on that pretty quickly. If you don't have a spot. In terms of other Leo, was there other things that you particularly wanted to bring up or talk about?
The vacation offerings, I'm just wondering your thoughts on that, and then could you just, whatever the coach's night is, I think it's self-explanatory, but.
Yes, so the vacation offerings, our thought was that there should be something offered for each day of vacation. For the kids, whether that be a ski trip, that was something that we had talked about, that could organize for the kids, or games or something along that line, but trips that they could take, that they would be able to, organize a bus to go out on those trips. The coaches net.
You're okay.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
The coaches, essentially, I think one of the barriers, Eric, that you had brought up, at least to me, and I think we had talked about as a full meeting, was not having this being completely volunteer run. So then the barrier there is, okay, how do we get over that? And whether that be identifying a coach in the community that's an expert, or something along those lines that's the primary coach for, let's say, the indoor soccer, I'll be the primary coach, and whether that makes me a temporary employee of the rec department or however we get around that, and then you train your volunteers. So, all right, we're gonna have a night where we meet. For me, I'm doing it in the morning of an hour before. These are the programs that we're gonna be offering. This is what we're gonna be doing today. Going forward, I'm going to be emailing you out. This is the plan for the practice or whatever it is. So the kids are getting an introduction to whatever the event or activity sport would be, but it's consistent and it's quality instead of, okay, we're kind of just running around and we don't really know what's going on. So making sure it's consistent for the kids.
I think that is just a good accountability measure as well for anybody that's coaching.
Yeah, I think that gets people pulling in the same direction. The kids get the same message.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry, jumped right over. We will start with you. Questions and discussions.
My only question is, and I'm gonna defer right to Eric, is the department head?
Sure.
Because you're gonna be, does this seem reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not like word for word, but I think the quarterly and the amount of, programming and the structure of it, I love the idea of the coaching the coaches, like you were just talking about. Yeah,
What about the sign-up dates, Eric?
Well, the sign-up dates, like during the year, we could definitely make happen even earlier, like we did it for this winter, a lot earlier. The problem we've always had with, just using the summer camp as an example.
Sorry, can I just jump in real quick? So for the sign-up dates, you had it earlier than September 1st for winter?
Wait, what?
So the program open date.
So the program open date, it looks like in.
Oh, no, I didn't mean earlier than this. I meant earlier than we had it last year.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
okay. So that's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, John, are the sign-up dates and the season opening, like the season dates and the sign-up dates, are those feasible?
Yeah.
Are those realistic is what I'm
To
asking.
say, okay.
But like I was just
Start, yeah.
bringing up summer camp, because that one, we hire a whole nother summer camp staff. So we determine how many kids we're gonna let into the camp that summer by how many staff we get. And the problem is we advertise for staff, and first thing we do is we send out re-invites to the staff from the previous year.
When does that go up?
usually right around this time.
Right now.
In the winter, yeah. But it's, so say if we, 5 of them get back to us and say we can come back. A lot of kids don't know yet what they're gonna do for the summer. And then if we wanna make new hires, we don't know how many spots will be available. So kids don't know by January 1st if they're gonna be able to work the summer yet or not.
Mhm. Do you have an average number of, a summer camp roster for the last, let's just say, 5 years? I know COVID threw the
Well, like
wrench.
last year we had, I think, it was about 30 to 40 kids per
Okay.
day on average.
Mhm.
And we had one camp director
Mhm.
and 4 full-time staff
Mhm.
and like maybe 2 part-time staff.
Is
It
there,
wasn't every day.
is there any reason, is there any, or, and, is there anything stopping from opening the summer camp in January with the caveat, with the asterisk at the top that you can sign up, you can pay, you can have your spot, but it is 100% guaranteed on staff numbers. And
Well,
then
yeah,
have,
and that's what we've kind of started, we want to do with the year-round programs.
Mhm.
But like you said, I didn't want to screw people over for the summer. If they make plans with us, they sign up on my rec
Mhm.
for the summer camp,
Mhm.
and then the time comes around or we get a little closer and we say it doesn't look like we're gonna have the staff.
Mhm.
You 10 or whatever, we're not gonna be able to let you in.
Mhm.
That's
Puts the parent in a pickle.
Right.
yeah, it would be the same thing as making them wait till
Can I ask
April or May.
what do other towns do? Like, what does Yarmouth do? What does Brewster do?
I could check with them. I'm not sure.
Because I know
We
they
do
have some pretty significant, like Flax Pond program
Yep.
is a pretty significant camp, and they fill up like immediately.
Yeah.
You can't get in there.
With kids,
So
yeah.
what do they do that might be different?
Well,
that
we were
could
full too.
adopt?
We were full too this year. We were full based on the amount of staff we had. If we could have taken more kids if we got more staff. So we have to go by like a 10-to-1 ratio.
Mhm.
So if,
And do you mean that they fill up in January and then they handle their staff? Is that what you're asking?
I'm trying to see what's different about what they're doing that's allowing them to get more people in.
Oh, I see.
Someone's raising their hand.
Jolene's
They know
raising
the
her
answer.
hand.
Oh, do you know the answer to this question?
Only because this is the 3rd year my children have attended the rec program for Flax Pond in Yarmouth.
Okay.
And it fills up in January. I ended up being waitlisted this year because the town filled up their staff within 3 days. That had never happened before, so they closed it. They got more staff and they opened it up to the next town, and then they acquired more staff and they opened it up to the next town. It seems to me that they acquired staff first. Excuse me, they had
Participants first.
They had participants first. They were maxed out, so then they went ahead and opened it further. But they have their participants first.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then they know how many staff they need. But it is an incredible program, and it gets filled up.
So that
Thank you.
precludes that the money is already there
Right.
To hire.
Right.
to hire.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
it's-
I've paid and I'm in January. Therefore, the staff has to come after that.
for us, it's been
Thank you.
finding the bodies, not because it's a revolving fund program.
Can
The
I
summer
ask
camp.
what we're paying our staff?
Oh, so the summer camp staff or camp counselor rate ranges from like 16 to 18. So not.
Is that good, bad, or different in relation to
It's a little low.
similar?
It's a little low.
I mean, Stop and Shop offers 20.
Yeah.
So, but compared to other towns,
That's
it's
not my rate. I don't say it.
Right.
Just so everybody knows.
Let's finish this and then we'll open to any questions.
I'm good, that was my question, and do we need to look at raising the revolving fund hourly rate at some point?
I don't think.
Like we did with the lifeguards, and now we
Right.
never have an issue with lifeguards.
Right.
Correct?
Yep.
Because we raised that substantially 4 or 5 years ago.
As a teacher, I think anybody dealing with kids that long should have a raise, so. So I do think that would help, especially when we have, restaurants offering 16, and we have all these different, down Chatham Main Street and Harwichport offering the same price for a more fun job, if you look at it that way. No, it's true. I have teenagers. I know what they want to do. I think making it worthwhile for them to want to come out and do this. Also, can I ask, previously, how was it communicated, or how did it get put out that we were looking for staff, and then what are the plans going forward?
Well, we advertised it in the paper. We put it out. We obviously invited people back, and then we put it on the websites that we had. But we're going to have more of a reach now because we have people that are more adept at Instagram and things like that.
Okay, so it'll be a
But
social media.
we'll put it out even earlier. You
Sure.
know.
And then is there, could you send it out? I know the high school will always post. They have a Friday email that goes out across the board. So would you
update on that too? We just actually, I sent Phyllis, our part-time person, to there was kind of a job fair type event at the Cape Cod Community College, and she found 3 people that just came to us that are available now to work. And first thing I said to them, I said, "How do you feel about the summer?" And they seem very open to it. So we're gonna try to get to more of these job type fairs that are around. It seems like a good resource.
And I may be totally off because I don't know the protocol for them, but J1 students?
I'm not sure. We haven't looked into J1 students yet.
Okay.
But we can.
We have a lot of them, and they're always looking for a lot, 2 jobs.
How do you do a query check on someone international?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
We could find that out. Yeah, we've never had to so far.
Right.
So I guess I'm out of the loop. You're pre-proposing that the families in this community are willing to spend more money on the fee structure.
No.
What do you mean?
Well, if it's in the revolving fund and you're gonna increase the fees, or you're gonna increase salary and wages, it's gotta come from somewhere. You're gonna have to increase, that's my question.
Okay, I
So
see
am
where
I
you're
out of
coming
the
from.
loop that
No,
I'm missing the point that the
100%.
young families that are gonna access all this would be willing to pay more money in any kind of fee structure that gets developed?
No, I see your point. I think
Well, that's my question.
Yeah, I think the real big places we're looking at this is summer camp and maybe the after-school program, but what's our wait list look like for that?
It's not huge right now.
Okay,
No,
so
it's only
really summer
a couple
camp.
kids, really.
So summer camp is the
Summer
biggest.
camp's the big one.
Good deal now, I think, right?
Yeah, it's like $4 an hour, I think.
The summer camp
The
is?
summer camp one.
Yeah.
So, granted, you don't wanna raise it a lot, but
No, and
if
we
it
do
gets more
have.
people in, and it helps more families.
Exactly.
It makes it more available,
Yeah.
is what you're
And
saying.
I think availability is the biggest issue right now rather than price, and we do have scholarships available.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
No, but that's okay.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to answer it because I don't know, but I think availability is a bigger issue than fee at the
Availability and
moment.
cost.
Right, but I'm saying, I think
The
availability
monies have to come from
outweighs-
somewhere.
Of course. I'm saying I think availability outweighs the cost concept.
I
Oh,
think,
that's
I
interesting.
think she's right,
Yeah.
It's a new
actually.
financial, okay.
I mean, we're not talking a massive,
We're not doubling the fee.
no,
Yeah,
because that would be,
then it would take priority. Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I haven't seen any of that yet,
Any of what?
doubling the fee, what we're gonna do with the programs.
No, we're not
So-
planning on doubling
This
any
literally
fees.
just came up
Yeah.
2 minutes ago. We asked the question about,
Yeah.
are they getting enough, are they being paid enough money?
What is the current, and you might not have this right off the top of your head, what is the current, so if I wanted to sign my kid up for a week, what would that currently look like?
I'd have to check. The way we ran it last week was 2 5-week sessions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what is that?
I'd have to check for you. I don't know it
Okay.
off the top of my head.
That's fine, as I was wondering, the cost breakdown into summer, like what we pay out.
Oh, I
then-
see, to staff and
Yeah,
equipment and things
Right,
like that,
and
yeah.
then, so if we raise it.
I can get a
few
breakdown for all
dollars-
you for that.
Yeah,
We
that
have
would be good,
that,
because if
yep.
we raise it just a few dollars and it doesn't hit homes too hard, but it gives us the extra staff, or entices more staff, I don't see that, I see it being a win-win.
I agree.
So I guess circling back, my question again would be, are you comfortable, Eric, opening summer programming in June, the summer camp up in June for registration?
In
and
January.
then in January, sorry, not June.
You have it here as March, Madam Chair.
I think over
Summer.
No,
year.
summer.
Summer camp isn't an all
January
quarters
1st.
section.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking
Yeah.
at summer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing
And
to
then
give it.
chasing after the
I'm willing to
staff.
give it a try. Yeah,
Okay.
with just the understanding, like, would we be taking payments for all these registrations?
I would.
Because then, if we don't end up getting the staff, that's not my only worry. You know, if
Well,
it came
that's why
down.
I asked what your standard numbers were the last
Yeah,
5 years. So if you know, we definitely could take 40 kids.
Yeah, like a
without
minimum.
them,
I see. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then after 40, we wait list out
Okay.
for, and
Yeah,
then
we could do
every
something like that,
staff
yeah.
member you hire, you let 10 more in.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Brian?
That, to kind of piggyback on that, could help with kind of blitzing to get staff is, you know, go to the 4C stuff, go to the high schools.
Yeah.
You know, even go into social media, there's a ton of Facebook babysitter groups for Cape Cod, you know, going through that too. And then you can screen them too, you have to do the Cory checks, you have to do everything else.
Yeah.
But that could help with the staff blitz once you know your numbers too, and kind of take the wait list and checks.
That's a good idea.
Yep. I'm just reading, even though I read this before when you emailed it. Oh, yes. Please continue around the table.
I'm good.
Mr. Wentworth, any more questions?
I like the schedule. I think, you know, again, we kind of talked about this at the last month's meeting for flag football. Even, you know, looking into the NFL one, is that cheaper? Is that more feasible? I know a lot of towns do that.
Did you just receive this information today, Eric?
I sent
The
that.
numbers?
This one?
Yeah.
Yes.
This was just
This one I emailed out to you guys when it came. Yeah.
I believe, and Eric, just because I'm looking at this tonight right now, but these seem pretty standard to what you're already charging, pretty close.
Yeah. The only question I had is this assuming like volunteers for most of them, right?
So this is assuming what we're charging. So for example, the soccer,
Yeah.
it kind of went off that, things that seem to have more equipment. I tried to price that up. These are all estimates. Don't take it as
Yeah.
holy grail by any means.
I just meant.
Even the learn to skate, I went off what Chatham's program
Yeah.
is. So
I just
I
meant
tried
like
to do
if we wanted to do, I'm just picking one at random, volleyball.
Yep.
And we didn't have any volunteers for it. But we still wanted to run it for the kids, and we had a staff member to do it.
Yep.
Then there's another cost associated. Yeah.
So if you have a cost of the staff member, they can then generate volunteers, or however you're doing that. That's going to increase the numbers that you're drawing, and then there's your cost to pay your volunteer or staff member. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I got you.
I think that would be easily offset by $40 a kid, which is I mean, other than the running club, and I think there was one other one that was $25 a kid that required minimal equipment. If anything.
Some takes more than others. Yeah. Yep.
It would be easily offset.
Phyllis.
Okay, I have some ideas.
Love it.
So isn't there a rowing club at Long Pond that does crew? I mean, maybe you could get like a high school activity that people aren't doing a certain sport, because not everyone does a sport, that might maybe.
They have youth rowing.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
There's a Cape Cod Youth Rowing Club.
Okay.
Good idea.
And
That is a good
I
idea.
would call agility training like ninja course or something, and really sell it.
So I love ninja coursing,
Nunchucks,
but agility training is more like conditioning and
yeah.
off-season training.
Well, then maybe there was another one on here, but I would like sell it like that.
Phyllis, I didn't know you were into marketing.
Well,
the
probably
ninja-
not hard to sell any of them, but I mean, to the parents, it's another thing to sell it to the kids.
But they do have the portable ninja courses, like that would be like a great event.
Yeah.
Saturday, Saturday the 12th, come in, we have the whole gym set up as a ninja course.
Yeah.
$10 a kid, or $5, whatever. Come in and do the ninja course all day. Or you get a certain hours or whatever, so that would be a great one.
And the other thing is, my old town, they did touch a truck where the highway department washed all their equipment, and one day the kids came and crawled all over the
They
trucks,
do
and it was
that.
like
They have
yeah.
that now, yeah.
Well, it was with rec.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You
they
call
do it in
fire,
our
but-
parking lot.
Yeah.
All the fire trucks
Yeah.
come and, yeah, yep.
Um,
I'm grilled for that too.
Yeah, I think
Grilled?
that's kind of, I
Grilled
think
hot
that's
dogs.
kind of a general idea.
Right, and then
of
there
events.
used to be summer tennis.
Summer, yeah, we didn't have any instructors this
Yeah.
year, so we'll advertise that again.
And maybe
Was that, you were just talking about tennis? I missed it.
Tennis, yeah. Phyllis
Yeah,
did.
so
Summer,
They used to have summer
we
tennis.
redouble our efforts, because 2 years in a row now, we haven't had tennis, and we've had that since there was a rec department, I think. And I find it hard to believe, but we have 2 boys and girls tennis leagues at the high school. And there's gotta be a few that wanna teach, it's just a morning job, right?
I could reach out, yeah, I'll reach out to the coaches maybe and see if anybody wants to.
Yeah,
Tennis coach.
and if not Harwich, other towns too, they all have tennis teams.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean the high school
And
teams? Yeah.
yeah, look at the pay too, what we're paying the tennis instructors, because we always had tennis. Now they gotta go down to Lucarios.
Well, that's part of, it's a very low rate for tennis instructors too, on our rate
That's
scale.
the reason, we can't get them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I just have one more question, because we're circling back to me and taking it over, sorry. And then we have a comment. I just have a question, and I guess I'll direct this to both of you. Meeting with, I'm not sure who this first person is, Caroline, Eric, and Joe to combine efforts. I believe I know who Caroline and Joe are. And then is this Kara from
204?
Oh, Kara,
Okay,
Kara, yeah,
Kara.
yeah.
So what our hope was to try and just combine forces to see availability for spaces, and obviously, Eric, you work with Carolyn, and Kara closer than probably any of us know, but I think just combining efforts of what is available at the rec, what's available at the 204, how can we maximize that, how can we maximize staffing that we do have to increase availability, because I think a lot of it is, for example, if something's run 3 to 5, could that potentially be moved to a different time? Or you had mentioned line dancing. Is that something that maybe could shift to a different spot, or just kind of just putting heads together to see, are we all working together the most optimally to maximize our spaces and availability?
And there's actually a brand new group that's been organized through this building that's going to be meeting for the first time, I believe, next week or the week after. It's going to consist of, so far, myself, Carolyn Carey, Kara will be there. I believe Ginny Hewitt from the library.
What is the name of that group?
We don't even have a name yet.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's going to be, yeah, we're going to meet here.
us.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
we're going to, that's the idea.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's already,
I believe it's next week.
I just love the idea, and I think maybe you guys could see why, of combining efforts of all the community spaces to get.
Interdepartmental.
Yeah,
too,
exactly, because you could do a much bigger event if you start at the library and walk to the rec and so on and so forth. I would just like to ask our Board of Selectmen liaison if you have any comments or questions or anything like that.
So, yeah, I do actually, thank you.
Sure.
So a couple things. Some of these programs, are they going, as Eric has just went over the programs he was proposing for spring and winter, et cetera, these programs that you're discussing now, you see those being supplemental, or are they gonna end up competing with some of these programs that?
No, they would all be rec. This would all be rec programming.
Yeah, no, I know it would all be rec, but I'm just saying, how many programs?
So many
Oh, I
offerings,
see what
you're
you're
watering down.
Right, are you watering down some of these things so that in one breath you're trying to make it better, and in another breath are you? Because if you're offering so many different choices, are you not gonna get to what you want? And that's one question. The other question is that, in terms of the discussion on the group that they're putting together, the other thing that I just wanna remind everybody is that, so Kara comes to the group as the cultural center director, right? And so although she's overseeing 204 system in a sense, it's necessarily the board because it's a municipal building.
Mhm.
So as you look to have spaces for rec programs, and I get it, because everybody's competing for space, but that, there's gonna have to be that, just like you have to worry about, you're serving not just the youth, but all the way up.
So my question to that would be, based on what you just said, why not the rec, you set a fee for the rec department to rent the space?
So I think that's a discussion we'll be having when we have our joint meeting.
And I may not be there. So anyway,
Can we call you in?
Yeah.
Can we put you on speakerphone?
So those are just a couple questions that come to my mind as I'm listening.
Kristen, if you don't mind, can I jump in on the first one?
Sure.
I think comparatively to most, and obviously Truro and P-Town in the winter don't count, so, but I think comparatively to Chatham, Brewster, Yarmouth, Dennis, Sandwich, Barnstable, Matt, all of them, they run about the same amount of programs. I think with the programs that are listed for the winter, even with field hockey and soccer, and the fitness one, just getting started, that was over 70-something children that signed up in the last 2 weeks, on top of all the kids that we have for basketball signing up and jumping in. So the population is there, the demographic is there to fill these kind of, this amount of programs. I think you had spoken that you had 250 kids sign up, so
Yes.
you know.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the issue
You want them all for
this is the
football.
issue, this is one of the issues you'll run into when you compare Brewster, particularly Brewster, not so much Chatham, but Brewster, Orleans, some of them, they have far more facilities available to run these programs. So, for example, the town of Harwich only has 2 gymnasiums. That's it. Brewster has 5 maybe at their disposal, because they have the schools. The schools there are town. We don't, for the rec programs, you don't have access to the school gymnasiums here because they're run by the Monomoy district. You'd have to pay for them. So that's what we run into with the town of Harwich is very lacking in facilities. So you gotta run out of time and its availability to run multiple programs compared to like Brewster and Orleans, they have far more facilities.
So build more
You know,
buildings.
They have, that's
Well,
where we're
no,
headed.
no.
That's
So-
it. I gotcha.
So, you know, Brewster has 5 or 6 Little League fields available. 4 or 5 soccer fields available. We don't have that.
Can I ask a stupid
Fields
question?
we have. Fields we
Possibly a
have.
very stupid question,
Hold on
but I
for a
don't know.
moment, please, Madam Chair.
Yes,
May I?
please. Sure.
When you said that Nauset Regional is Nauset in total,
Yep.
all the schools.
Yep.
St. Monomoy Regional.
Different.
So, no.
So,
Brewster has Eddy Elementary School, others, they're town, those are town schools.
Stone, yeah.
They're not in the Nauset Regional District.
They're
Harwich has-
elementary.
They're elementary
but
schools.
Orleans is.
But Harwich Elementary is not.
No, Orleans Elementary.
It's Monomoy,
It's-
Monomoy District.
Right, it's within the district.
So theirs aren't within the Nauset District. So those gymnasiums all fall under their rec. So if you go online, if you look at their facilities, they have far more facilities available to their rec than Harwich does.
And it's a smaller town.
They have, well,
That's
they have
why I keep
two
harping on the
elementary
fact that we
schools.
do not have the facilities that we need. We don't have the number of fields that other communities have. We don't have the amount of facilities that are needed to run the amount of programs that we should be able to be running. So we're in even the 204, when you look at what is already allocated to pickleball, there's not a lot of available time spots left to add any more programs to that when you already have the after-school program every day and you have pickleballs there 5 days and 3 nights, 2 nights?
2 nights.
2 nights?
What about the outside of 204?
Well, I'm just talking about if you need the gym.
Okay.
I'm just
we're
talking
talking
about
like
the gym.
winter.
I'm just
Talking
talking about
winter,
the
yeah.
So outside of 204, have you been there?
Yeah, my
It can't-
daughter
it's
lost her
unusable.
front tooth on that, one of those fields.
But it's unusable.
Yeah, it needs a
unusable
lot of
now.
work.
It's unusable to any sort of outdoor recreation right now.
That's where I held my soccer.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
it's unusable.
I did also
Yes,
have
Julie,
another,
please, back
so
to you.
when you're talking about the summer camp, and I know the value of that, so, and I love the idea of trying to help parents out sooner. But again, there's good points raised on the staff, and then tying back to the question on the revolving fund and where, where does that put you in fees and what is it gonna cost? But, I guess one question I have there is, would you give a priority first to residents?
We do now.
You do,
Yeah,
okay.
we do now.
So even on this sign up, you'll be able to,
Oh, yeah, you
delineate.
could set time, just throwing it out there, you could say the whole month of January is only residents.
Yeah,
You
okay.
could put that even on the new website.
Yeah, that's what other towns
Yeah,
have
that's
in
good.
place, so like Brewster,
We've
said-
had that, too,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
perfect.
okay.
I actually have a question on that maybe you could
Sure.
help me. When we say residents.
Yep.
Yeah,
What do we
you're not
mean by
gonna be able to
resident?
go
Yeah,
there.
can that, if you go to school here, can you have, you know what I mean?
School
'Cause-
choice.
Well, I know, okay,
Yeah.
that's true too. I just know that there are summer families that jump on these things because it's easy enough to say, oh yeah, we're there all summer and fill up a space for somebody who's here trying to work in the summer.
We put
because
it,
they live-
when we do put it out early,
Uh-huh.
like the first month it's out, it's for the residents.
Right, but if
But-
somebody lives in, I don't know, some fancy town on the
If
Cape.
someone isn't honest,
Yeah.
how do you know?
Well, they put their address on the thing, but other than
But
that,
they
we
would
don't.
put their
But they-
Harwich address if they're a
Yeah.
second homeowner.
Yeah.
But as a second homeowner, is it a taxpayer or is it a
We
resident?
also,
Right.
we don't run, yeah.
Can we go by
exactly,
voters?
Exactly.
You can
yeah.
vote, you can
So, I mean.
go in January.
Yeah. I mean,
I-
if
you
we
know what?
can, if we're allowed to. I don't
Alright.
know.
No, that's
And
my
I'm-
question.
I'm not afraid to say what I would prefer,
Right.
Yeah.
which would be for the
But that's
year-round
my-
families,
yeah.
because those are the people who
That
need
need
the
it.
help more than someone who's down for the summer, because that's a different life you're living.
Exactly.
And yet, we have to be careful on how do we determine that
Right.
somebody's paying taxes and they're not here year-round to be using the schools and the systems, so we're benefiting from that.
Right.
So the time that they do come, you can see where the pushback would be, is now I am here and I wanna use
use it.
something and
Yeah.
I pay my
Sure.
taxes, so I
So
can't
there's
say I
no
can give you a
way-
quick,
It's two
No
sides.
way around it?
I'm, it's a good question, and we can certainly delve into it to see if we could do something. Same way I was just gonna say, there's nothing to preclude us from talking about the current use of pickleball and the at the 204, and the ability to maybe open up some of that, where you're coming up with, new courts at Brooks Park. I mean, to me, there's gotta be some give and take there. I'm only one board member, but that's my feeling on it.
Madam Chair, to the chairman's, the
Yes.
select board
Yep.
chairman's comment, I would recommend to the Recreation Commission, Recreation Department, that we look at the 204, and since that's at its end of its useful life,
The fields, you mean?
you know exactly where I'm going. CPC can provide the funding to redo those fields.
But whose jurisdiction are those under
It
right
it would be under the town of Harwich.
Can we add a splash pad?
now? Over there, that'd be great.
That's what I
That'd be
mean.
That
great.
comes next year.
With the field redo, yes. Go ahead, please.
I might just suggest that you give priority to the children that are already enrolled in your after-school camp and on their wait list, and that would give you your already established children first into your summer program
Okay.
without discluding anyone, right? If you prioritized your students that are already in your after-school programs to be the first signups for summer, then you would not have.
It'd be hard, though.
I see
Yeah.
the logic there.
Kind
Is
of
that,
creating a tiered system within your.
Can
It
we
is
do
a-
that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You have-
well, I was asking,
It's an
can we,
issue.
can we do
I
that?
I
You don't
can't
know.
say that, I
Right,
don't
okay.
know, I can't say that, but you
My
are
concern
creating,
is-
you're
Yeah.
creating a tier.
Right.
Because
Right.
I don't take
the
advantage
after-
of the
After
after school, that
school.
means I'm on the
True.
second level to get into
Right.
some of
Right,
that.
maybe somebody can't
You're
afford
It
the
sounds
after
good when
school.
it comes
Yeah.
out, but then when you think
Yep.
about it, it's
Right.
like,
Yeah, no, I agree, I agree.
Exactly.
Nope, I agree.
that's
So-
why we have a discussion.
Yeah, no, and I said, I'm a teacher, so my kids don't need the after school, I'm out with them, but in the summer, I need something, so I see that.
204 for pitch.
Yep.
I don't know whose pitch it is. Yeah.
We'll deal with that.
Well,
It's not gonna-
there will be a pitch for, there will be a pitch for more
That
facilities.
pitch.
There you go.
That's not.
There you go.
No, yes.
And the 204 gym between 8 and 12 in the morning, I don't know who else wants to use it besides pickleball?
Yeah, during the day, when
Yeah.
the kids are in school,
Right.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right,
And
so
that-
I don't,
I
otherwise it
think
would be
it's the
empty.
It's 3 to
I'd say-
5
I
that
And
they
there's
have
other
it.
times that it,
Pickleball has it 3 to 5
At night, in the afternoon.
for 2 nights a week.
2 nights, no, it's
No,
5
not
to
3 to
7,
5.
it's 5 to
Or
7.
5 to
5 to
7,
7,
sorry.
yeah.
Yes,
So
so
essentially when you would want to be running.
Those are the prime times.
for
Exactly.
kids, right.
But in their defense, cause I had the calls, pickleball's great if you're retired. But if you're a working folk, you can't play during 8 to 12.
7 to 9.
Right.
So that's why they did the 2 nights,
Yeah.
to give the working people
Right,
a
so-
chance to play.
But couldn't
This
they
all-
do later?
Like a
7 to
7 to
9.
9.
Right,
Well, I'm
'cause
not
the-
saying that, but that's the reason that
Yeah.
they asked for a couple nights is to let them play.
I
Right,
spoke
but the
with a
5 to
few-
7 isn't good for people who work. 5 is too,
No,
by the
no.
time you get home from work,
It is.
it is, it's 5 to 7. By the time people get back from wherever and whatever and go to play, 5 is too early, it's already
Sure.
6, and it's like, that's
Yeah.
So
too
7
late.
to 9
So-
might
So you
work
want
for you.
7 to 9? Because
I
I've
don't
been
know
told
about
that
7
they
to 9.
don't.
Well, that-
I was,
7 to 9.
I was
It
told they
used to
didn't
be,
want
it
it.
used to be 5:30 to 8:30.
Dennis and your miss do that.
See, 7 to 9 sounds like it
Like, I would
be
think
ideal
6:30 to 8:30 would
because-
be
Yeah,
way
well,
better.
yeah, pickleball.
But
I
it
mean,
doesn't,
yeah.
5 is too, I know people that won't play, it's just
Right.
too early for them.
Well, most
Yeah.
after-school programs start between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So, and then they run into 7, so.
Well,
5 to
7, I think 7, if they wanna play, they'll come at 7 to 9.
Yeah.
But at 5 is, I think
So,
it's too
so
early.
I think the discussion should be had, that,
Yeah.
you know, to Bobby's point, limited facilities, and when we're talking, we're not talking about during the day when the kids are in
Right.
school.
Right.
We're talking about how to create more opportunities for everybody around the boards.
Yeah,
I know we worked
Does
it out
the
with
town
seniors.
still offer childcare?
For what? What do you mean?
Like at the schools?
No.
No.
After-school childcare? The town
No.
doesn't offer that anymore?
You mean the schools?
You mean,
Because we do, we're the
yeah,
town.
it's that.
No, it's
Yeah.
not, no.
No, the
Not you,
school,
separate.
nope, the school has the YMCA program.
Yeah.
They sold out they used to have a regular after-school program, which was amazing, and you could have your kid there for 10 minutes or 2 hours, and
Yeah.
you would pay daily, and that was it. The Y has now taken that over, so you have to go through the YMCA and their policies and their prices and their everything. Or you have the option of the Rec, or you have the option of Pilgrim Church.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of those fill up so incredibly fast. Pilgrim Church was filled last year, just for this year. From the kids that were still going, they're filled. I believe you guys filled up pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
almost immediately.
Yep.
The Y, I will say it publicly, is out of the cost for a lot of Harwich families.
It's
even-
too expensive.
Yeah, even just well-to-do middle-class families, it's out of their price range. So the after-school care is definitely an issue in the town, for sure.
Now, the school.
This town used to offer after-school programs
Well,
at the 204, but it was the middle school at that point.
So also in the elementary school, they used to offer the programs, certain different programs after school, so
So
you never
they-
left the school.
Yeah,
So they have
Do they
clubs,
still do
so
that?
they do offer certain clubs, and stuff, but they're not like I have to pick my kid up at 4:30 every day.
Yeah, right.
Option,
Right.
but you can sign your kid up for Legos on Wednesday or ballet on Friday or whatever it is, so.
Those fill up very quickly.
They do,
Yeah.
that was a race. They send out an email, they say, get ready, get on the
Go.
computer,
Go.
here you go.
It's like
It's
buying
it's-
tickets to like a
Yeah.
concert
really
or
is.
something.
One other thing, would someone please explain to me why the drum beat from the Monomoy is they're losing students? And yet what I'm hearing here is totally
I don't know that I've heard that.
off it.
They had to deny.
Well,
quite a
talk to
few
the
schools.
superintendent sometime.
Oh, well, I think
Well,
that's
the
we're
numbers
way
are
off topic.
shifting, I mean, we can't, the numbers are shifting. Chatham has less kids.
Right.
You know, ours are fairly stable. the regional approach is doing well.
Mhm.
But, you know, the discussion that we're gonna be having is the shift of the funding formula.
Mhm.
You know, this is not sustainable for Harwich. With $28 million we gave from our budget for the school system.
Okay, but is the general population of this town with the children decreasing or not?
Yeah, it is decreasing.
It is decreasing.
It is.
I don't
And-
actually, I'm sorry, don't mean to argue, but I believe the demographics on that say the opposite.
Well, when you're talking about
For the
school
under
choice, that's
18.
different, but when you're
Right.
talking about the towns themselves,
Mhm.
and then the only reason you're seeing things stabilize right now is because Nauset is gonna be building it, they're renovating their high school. You're seeing an influx of some students choice into Monomoy,
Mhm.
whereas they used to prefer Nauset.
Right.
And some of that is stabilizing numbers for us. We're
Right.
not losing numbers in terms of bodies who wanna come to Monomoy, I'm not saying that.
No, I mean, in Harwich in general, I believe our demographic was an increase of under 18.
I don't know.
Um,
I would wanna see those statistics, cause.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah,
Right,
we've had a lot of different data that would point in a different direction, which is why one of my things on the article of preschool funding and helping parents with that was to help keep people in town,
Mhm.
young families.
Do you have something?
So just as a quick note, I did go into our 2020 census numbers for the town of Harwich. Specifically, our population as of April of 2020 was 13,440 residents. As of July 2022, our numbers were 13,647 residents. That's an increase of 1.6%. Of that demographic, 5,733 families, 7,076 people under the age of 60. 12.4% of our population as of the 2020 census numbers is under 18, with the majority being between the ages of 5 and 14 years old at 7.4%. Most of our, it looks like married couple family households at 47.4%. I can get into medium household income.
where do those stats come from?
These are all from the government, the US Census website.
Okay,
What is that in relation to like 10 years ago?
Exactly, so this was 2020. And again, we'll have newer numbers coming up, but I did wanna know that yes, the numbers are increasing. And in terms of under 18 population, Harwich is hovering, last time I looked, around 1,846 residents under the age of 18. And I think it was an increase of about 2%. And
From 2020?
yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, it's significant. I mean, I see more people, there's more families. As PTO, welcome baskets, you name it. I don't see us getting any smaller. I think after COVID, the drive for people moving out of the city and making Harwich or Cape Cod permanent residence is very apparent.
that's an interesting stat.
Yeah, thank you for that number. So a 2% increase in under 18 in the last 2 years.
I believe so, yes,
Okay,
and I'll
great.
double check my numbers.
But going back to our
Thank you.
school system, that doesn't mean they're all in our school system, so we have to be careful about those numbers, right?
Right, but
Just
they're
because-
Harvard residents.
But wait a minute, but yeah, not as, if you exclude the school, even if they're not in the school, we as a town of Harwich need to provide for the children that are living in the town.
I'm not saying that.
Through
What I was
activities.
saying was that the question was just about the schools and were we losing kids in
Yeah.
school, so that's the only point I was making, so.
Okay,
Lost my
great,
point.
thank you. We are gonna pull this back on topic. Where did I leave off on the circle of questions for Kristen? Did I go
I
all
think you
full
went all the way
round?
around.
Phyllis?
Yep.
All right, Frank, do you have any questions for Kristen?
Keep pretending he's there too.
I'm sorry, Frank, did you say you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm all set right now, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
I can hear the ice
Do
in the
you have any
glass.
more questions for us, for the commission?
I think the only thing that I
think it's
wanted
wine
to,
time.
and thank you guys for reviewing this, and I appreciate the feedback and helping to implement this forward. I really do, and I think all of us can say that. we're really just trying to streamline the voices of the parents that we very loudly have been hearing and are a part of. I would just request to be put on the agenda again for the next meeting so we can just follow up on implementation and see how things are going. I think that was the December 12th date that you had decided on.
Madam Chair, just a question, what do you expect, what's the expectation by the 12th?
I think I'd like to see follow-up on the MyRec implementation, anything further on the financials of that, and just programming.
Financials of what?
So the financial deadline for the payment system.
Oh, you mean from the finance director, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And did you also say program
The
opens?
programming, yep,
Okay.
the programming in terms of the spring that we'd be looking forward to, because we'd be looking, I'm sorry. am I
Yeah, no,
saying this
you're
right?
right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm sorry,
you're
guys,
looking
my
to
brain
see
is
the
been
spring.
up since 5.
It's fine.
Since for the spring, to see what we've got on the docket in terms of putting that forward, and then particularly as it pertains to, have we identified who would be the sort of lead person coach for that, so that the trainers or train the coaches, whatever model we want to do, coach the coaches, could be implemented and put forward.
Sure, yeah, because I guess that would have to be done before programs start,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, that makes sense. Can we do cookies with Santa?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure, yeah,
Thought
we
you
could
meant
look into
right
that. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant too. I was like, I don't have any cookies with me, but I think there's a Santa suit.
Well, ever since you said it, I'm like, that's a really good idea. Let's make that happen at any point. Eric can be Santa, yes?
Sure.
Sure. Santa?
Dean,
Santa?
I'll put some weight on.
Smoking season.
I got grandchildren to play Santa too, that's enough.
All right, and I think that's it. We have reached the end of this wonderful meeting.
Productive.
What do I have to say?
I would just like to commend the working group and Eric. I think they've done a great job in the 2 months since we first met to get things moving in the right direction.
Absolutely, thank
That's
you
all we can
guys.
care about
Thank
is
you to all of you
move
very
forward.
much.
Thank you.
And I highly appreciate the volunteers, I just want to say, because it's been huge, it's been great for us. Yep.
Thank you.
No, I can't, I'm not,
Thank you.
I'm not.
What do I say?
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I have to roll call that?
See you, Frank.
Roll
Bye,
call.
Frank.
Bye, Frank.
And you'll get in touch with him on that.
Yeah, the med,
I had it on.
I don't know what the hell he's
I don't know
talking
what
about,
he's
but I don't either.
I know a bunch of people that have been over there measuring.
Sure.
Eric, could you hit the television?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It's
It's alright, I'm blocking everything, so.
Well, they can still hear you.
No.
Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome aboard, Brian.
Thank you.
That was a good